And 3, 2, 1, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Amal, and joining me tonight I have the Mus, Carl, George, and Andy. And we are the Monday Blues, proudly brought to you by Globalnet Solutions Australia, Mercadante Woodfire Pizzeria, Elite Plastering Group, Kami Projects, Zach Nasser from YPA, Raz Holmes, The Bottle and Pascaval, and Damo Finance. And we are here on a grim Monday night after Port Adelaide absolutely dismantled the Baggers 16-14, 110 to 8-12, 60. 8-12, 60. And here we are. Gents, how are we doing? Mus. The Mus.
Thank you. Yeah, I fucking... I was confident. Weirdly. I fucking know, bro. It's a... you're nursing a bit of a cold, Amal. You got a bit of a...
Yeah.
Notice that in your voice.
Yeah, I'm a little sick. Fucking sick of losing.
Kissing Paddy Cripps.
I copped it off him. Copped it off the fucking team.
Yeah. I was confident, bro. Like, I thought it was the time, now or never. And I thought if we get rolled the way we did, things would have started happening. But someone went to Carlton with a texter, and that was it. Carl?
Yeah, I was kind of expecting it. Not like that, though, to be honest. Obviously, looked like we started off well. Obviously, no scoring, but it looked like, pressure was going to be good, and fucking it dropped off real quick. And I mean, the rest is history. But yeah, it was just poor performance. A lot of soft fucks out there, to be honest. Just over it, man. Like, straight up, if you don't want to be there, don't fucking play. We're in it for the long run. They're not. I'm fucking over it. Straight up, boys. I'm over it. You got people missing set shots, kicking them out on the full, and just laughing about it. So, yeah, I'm over it, boys. Georgie?
You're not wrong, Carl. It was a very, very difficult watch, and I think even before the game, during the preview, I think it's the only time where I've tipped against us besides the Adelaide game where I just felt defeated. And then I think, watching it gradually, just the saddest part was I wasn't even that angry because we've just become accustomed to this level of mediocrity, which you hate to do so because you accept more, but you watch this game and you felt helpless. This is a game that we were talking about flying off for. For those who did, the club should have apologised, refunded your flights and accommodation for anyone who travelled over there for that, because that is an absolute gamozzle, as they call it. And to sum it up, thank you, Lone Wolf fans, for the donation. Hey, I'll have to say, being a Carlton fan isn't for the faint of heart. Non-Carlton fans laugh at us, but the truth is they could never handle what our club puts us through. And I'm going to start off just really quickly before I pass it on. This is when you talk about resilience, you talk about what the club put us through. And there's rumblings from the club and certain individuals in the club that say the fans' negativity is to blame. How dare you, man? How dare you say the fans' negativity is to blame? What was the fans' negativity to blame in round one? Was the fans' negativity to blame is why you capitulated in round one when we went into the season overwhelmingly confident? Every single supporter went in. There wasn't a shred of negativity, besides the Luke Sayers fiasco. But now it's the fans' negativity and the supporters' negativity. Of course, it is that led you to capitulate in round one. Is that that's what the club is saying? That we need more positivity around the club. I'm not going to cop that. Won't cop that supporters' negativity, and that is just a ploy, just as Stronger Together is, to keep people at bay. And I am so glad that this week, I'm not talking about the vandalism. I don't condone vandalism. I'm talking about this week, eyes are opening and narratives are changing. And I'm really glad that things we've been talking about for a very long time are now being acknowledged publicly. That's all I'm going to say. Andy.
I've said it for about a month. We're fucking shit. I expected this. I don't know, man. We're shit. From the ground up, we're just a shit organization right now. And the boys they're going through it, man. The players, I reckon, like the leader, I say leadership, I use the word leadership very loosely, but the guys that have been around for a while, I think they're going through some heavy PTSD. Genuinely, like, imagine Cripper, Weeders, they're probably like, fuck, we're going through this again. Imagine what Jack's feeling. Jack's probably been there, I think, longer, or maybe same as Cripper, but like, it's just the same thing over and over again. It's another coach now. You know that meme with like death and he goes from door to door? It's like that, but with coaches. Like, how many coaches is this group going to be responsible for ending their careers? How many coaches will it take before these players are held accountable? We can blame Voss all we like, and I've personally, I'll say this. I wanted Voss sacked at quarter time of the semi-final last year, and I've made that very vocal. I've been very vocal about it. But you can't blame Voss for... You got players on $1 million that can't kick a goal. You got players on $500,000 who can't hit a target. You cannot blame Voss for a performance that was spineless. It was just a spineless, spiritless performance. That was just a team that went out there and just, they were like deer in headlights. They were shocked. I think they were like, this was the culmination of weeks of just build up. And I think the players accepted their mediocrity and accepted how shit they are and the position they've put the team in on last Thursday. I think that this was a game of acceptance for them. Amal?
Yeah, agree with pretty much what everyone's saying. It was a bad loss, and I think historically, these are the kind of losses that would have ruined my weekend. Now, Carlton wasn't what ruined my weekend this week. Well, the weekend that just passed, it was sickness. It was the cold and flu that's bloody getting around, and you can probably tell in my voice. But I was cool, calm, and collected, and even like to what Carl said, right? We've all had enough. Like, enough is enough. It's no more emotional investment in a team, in a football club that isn't willing to put the same level of effort and investment in themselves, because that's exactly what the Port Adelaide match looked like. Who on the ground was invested in that performance, aside from maybe one or two? Not many. I think the only one that I thought, and Carl, you pointed this out, was Nick Haynes. What do you do, Carl?
Just had a spray, mate. Maybe your captain should be doing that. And it's sad that it's not sad, but like, it's coming from a bloke that's just come into the club this year and it's doing that. Like,
he's come from an elite culture.
I know, 100%.
Exactly.
But like,
And the ironic thing about that is it's an expansion club and it's an elite culture.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Sheedy helped set the foundations and whatnot, but you're spot on, Carl. Look who it's come from. And I love that, because this man's worked in an elite environment and he's woken up in a nightmare. He's woken up and like, what the hell is going on here? And he just struck me as a guy who's just getting fed up, and he's turning to left and right and absolutely giving him a spray. I'd love seeing it. Sorry, I must carry on.
You touched on culture, and that's been my biggest driver for the last couple of years. And it was fucking evident when you see like a player like Nick Haynes come in, who's fresh to the team, right? He's put on that captain's hat in the back line, and now it's filtered down across game day, spraying pretty much everyone. The biggest thing for me was watching the side. I watched a fair bit of footy over the weekend, and I saw North Melbourne, and they sort of dished out, I'm not going to say similar performance, they were actually good in parts of the game. There was a photo that I sent in a group, and at the end of the game, there was a moment in the rooms where if you had not seen the game and you saw that photo, and I sent that photo you'd think that these guys had lost the grand final by a point. It was hands on heads, heads to the ground, hands on hips. These guys were in the rooms, a bunch of kids getting done, and it looked like they had lost the grand final. They were almost in tears. It was like, what just happened? What do we do? How do we go about it? Where do we go? They were looking for that. Whereas if you see the Carlton Football Club just strolling around, strutting, they're strutting.
They care. That's the difference. There's no care. And back to Andy's point of Voss should have been sacked halfway through the last year final. 100% I agree. And what done it for me was on Thursday, when you get absolutely smashed and you come out and you're clapping. What are you clapping for?
Yeah.
Explain to me. What are you clapping for? Did your wife message you say dinner's ready? Like, what's so exciting?
It's acceptable. It's acceptable at the Carlton Football Club. This is what we stand for. This is what we stand for.
We're celebrating being down by 8 goals at 3/4 time, whatever it was.
Did he have on the board, let's not be down by more than 10 goals? So was he celebrating that little win? Fucking.
I quickly going back to Nick Haynes, I'm surprised that, maybe it's happened already. If, one of the faceless people behind the club has sent a message to him saying, stay in your lane. We don't do that kind of stuff around here. And then he probably will come out next week and apologize for, spraying the players, because there's this, the only spray these guys deal with is hairspray. Some of them, that's what they care about. You know what I mean? I'm fully expecting his tone to change, because whilst we have the tone at the club, we're not in a rush to win finals. We're here to make friends. We might lose a couple of games in a row. His stance of coming out and saying if players don't get their job done, we've got players in the twos, that goes way against what the messaging has come from every single individual at the club. And you've got to go and watch Brad Lloyd's interview. We're going to get to that shortly, to look at a person who probably needs a bit of PR training in terms of how to handle it. The club either threw him out there to the Wolves and he was not prepared whatsoever, but some of the calls and the messages that were out there that he was saying, and you want to put some confidence in your supporter base. And I understand Carlton fans, we're probably not going to be satisfied with whatever was put out there, but I would rather silence and let action speak louder than words on your
Shout out Rocco. Make sure you tune in to Jumper Punch tomorrow, 7 p.m. That's going to be a show.
Yep.
Doc patting Boak on the back after kicking a goal.
Yep.
That pissed me off.
Yeah.
That pissed me off. Doc is one of the drivers of this culture. We're nice guys. We're nice. We're friendly. Teammates get knocked. Oh, sorry. Before you go on, George, I just want to talk about how the tough guys in the Carlton Footy Club thought they'd be tough at half time and have a bit of push and shove. Please, we're not idiots. That was all optics, because you copped it during the week and everyone was saying how soft you are. And, mate, what else can be said? Like, we might as well just replay any one of our reviews, in the last month. And we're just going to do this again. They are weak. Even when they were pushing and shoving, they were the weakest pushers. There's no mutt in the team. There's no grunt. We're just a bunch of private school little bitches, man. That's all they are. Just a bunch of little hoes. That's all they are, man. Like, that's not tough. Going up to a couple blokes, because he didn't even hit Saad that hard. Like Saad ran into him, kind of like it was like he didn't mean to knock Saad down, but then they all
race for it. It's natural.
It's just a footy action, but they wanted to act tough at that. But when the guy knocked Chera down in Essendon, Saad was the only one who showed a bit of grunt and got into him. Everyone else, Saad's not the guy to push and shove. I don't know, man. This team is just all optics. What's going to sell, what merch is going to sell, how are we going to get people into the club. And they don't even call it an open training anymore, because they're not actually training. It's called a viewing session.
Isn't that like what they do? God forbid, at the church, viewing session when someone dies, like they call it a viewing. Why are they
It's
calling
called a
it
viewing. Yeah.
a viewing? Jeez. Coda, thank you for the donation. Actually, you've got to read it out. Today, a doctor asked me what difference between us and Collingwood supporters are. I said, "What's that, doc?" He goes, "They both hate Carlton." I'll tell you what.
Fuck, I'm not wrong. I tell you that.
I just wanted to touch base quickly on Voss, because look, we sort of opened up the can of worms, and we'll get to the game in a sec. There's so many things to talk about tonight, right?
Let's all get it off our chest.
There's a lot, and I want to get your thoughts as well, because we pretty much got it out there. The spray paint and the vandalism happened in the Friday morning. Keep Voss, might have been done by Michael himself. We don't know, but Carl, Andy, as it stands, I think you both let your feelings known in terms of where you stand on Voss. The Priestley came out and said, he's a contractor till next year, but he sort of said we're going to go through at the end of the year in a calm and intuitive manner and look at all the options and things like that. If you could just decide, stick or flick, and why with Voss, are you stick or are you flick, and why? End of the year. Let's call it end of the season for everyone.
Just quickly, before you.
Yeah, go.
I thought you were working Thursday night. When did you get time to go to the club?
When? I'm on the road most of the night, Carl.
That makes sense.
Lucky for me, I've got a good lawyer. I'm never a fan of Voss. I don't know what he actually brought to the club. His win ratio wasn't fantastic. He was never a successful coach. He was a good footballer, but that hasn't been transferred on the ground either. So for me, it's he's not the right guy for the gig. He never was.
Carl?
Look, he gave us a bit more than the other coaches. I mean, first year we got kicked out by a point in the last minute. Second year coaching, he got us to a prelim. Last year we got absolutely slapped. So there has been some improvement with him being as a coach, but I think that's all you're going to get from him. That's the peak. Now it could be the assistants, could be him, could be the board. Who the fuck knows? But I'm telling you that on Thursday, that clapping, that was it for me. He's done. He needs to go.
Okay.
I'm not so sure it wholly rests on Voss. The reason why, at the start of the year, what was it? Do you guys remember what Voss said about how Carlton was going to play in 2025? Well, the two words that he used: power and speed. Remember that? We're gonna play with power and speed. So to me, just based off what the club has allowed the players and the coaching and all the public figures to say, was that Voss and the coaching panel had an idea of how they needed to play in 2025, and that's speed and power, moving the ball quickly and all that kind of stuff. And some of the stats have been able to show that. However, I don't think that we have the players to be able to do that, and that's been evident across 2025. Now, why is that the case? This is a result of 4, 5, 6, maybe even 7 years of really, really poor list management decisions that have been made, and bad recruiting. Look at some of the names that have come up. I think Fox Footy put it up the other day: Mitch McGovern, Zach Williams, Adam Chera, Adam Sard, and one more person were the unreliable 5 or anything like that. Now, Chera, yeah, Sard, but McGovern and Zach Williams, you could certainly say that they've 100% been overpaid for what they've dished out over their time at Carlton. So, we haven't been in the right position to be able to bring in the players that we need to play the modern style of footy. Is that Michael Voss's fault, I don't know. I don't think so. Michael Voss wanted Dan Houston in. Dan Houston is an elite user of the ball. Would we have benefited from him being in the club? Yes. We all know that Michael Voss got overwritten on that decision.
The
So
thing is,
who's really
real
making the
quick,
decisions on the list?
this comment for me, proud. This was the language in round 1, bro. We don't show up, and he's proud. Do you know what I mean? Like, well, where do you go from there? For me, we've lacked leadership, and he's not a leader. As someone in that role, you need to be a leader and lead these guys off field, on field. And he's not that guy. He's not a leader. It's shown. He uses buzzwords and fluffs around post games and pre-game interviews, and off he goes. Nothing changes.
So, like, where I stand on it, and I want to like kind of piggyback off what Mush just said, and I want to go back a bit to Nick Haynes, how like what he said after the game, you know, and people were wrapped with what he said, holding players accountable. You know, he was holding them accountable. I just think he isn't Carlton media trained, and he didn't use the buzzwords that they like to use. That's why he just said, yeah, that's why he just said what he said, because that's how it probably actually feels. And to answer George's question, if I had to make like a yes or no decision, and it, I mean, it depends. Again, I said this last week. It depends what other changes are made. But if we're making just solely a coaching decision, Voss should have gone a long time ago for me. He's not a tactician. With our brand of football, he ultimately is responsible for the brand of football we play. You can blame Lions coachman. You can blame head of football Brad Lloyd, who absolutely needs to be sacked. You can blame, you know, the list manager, who absolutely needs to get sacked.
Yeah,
Nick Austin. You can the head of recruitment, Mick Agresta. He absolutely needs to get sacked. But ultimately, game plan is Michael Voss, and our game plan is not good. It is so old school. You know, it's just not the modern game. You need a coach with a modern game plan. Simple. And that game plan involves speed, fast ball movement, clean ball movement. You know, the development coaches, the skills coaches, all these people need to be sacked as well. Whoever's responsible for teaching these blokes how to kick a ball 25 meters, whoever is responsible for that, don't just sack them. Sack them. I don't want to say what I want to say. Sack them. Just make sure you just get them as far away from the football club as you can, because whoever's responsible for skills at the football club has had a free ride for about 30 years.
But think of it like this, right? Voss has been in the role now for a couple of years. He knows the list. He knows he would. I don't put it past him that he knows exactly where we need to get better, right? Whether it's players in a certain position, whether it's game style, whatever it is. Do you think right now, when the club has now publicly come out and said we need to change and we know where those changes need to happen, do you think it is the best time right now, in the situation that we're in, to get rid of Voss and bring in a new coach who won't have that understanding?
I think, again, it depends what changes are going to be made. So I've always been very vocal about you can't make too great of list changes and you can't make too great of coaching changes at once. But if we are making just coaching like this, I'm just answering George's question. If it's purely a coaching thing, bro, the fact that he knows his cattle, he knows the players, right? So he knows what he needs, but he hasn't got that. So why is he sticking to a game plan knowing that he hasn't got the cattle for it? Why isn't there a plan B? You know what? Like, it's all good and well when it's going our way, but we've said it 100 times. You know, when we lose, where's his tactical nous to be able to say, you know what, let's do this, or let's move, player C to position X. Like, I see no tactical nous from Michael Voss. And ultimately, as a head coach, you live and die by your game plan. And we've seen far better coaches not survive 4 years, 5 years. So I think I said this a few weeks ago. I think in 2023, that dreaded 2023 season we keep going back to, I think in that run, he got the best out of that playing list, and the playing list got the absolute best out of the coaching staff. I think, we just caught lightning in a bottle.
Perfect storm.
Yeah, and if that doesn't happen, because we've said it just play by play, look how much needs to go right in this game plan just to score a goal. And then, Carl, what happened straight away? This is Carl's favorite topic.
Concede.
Straight away. We work so hard for our scores. And ultimately, we keep talking, it's the contested game. We love this contested game and it's our game. And okay, but that's not working. It hasn't worked. You haven't won a premiership. You scraped into finals. Sorry, you missed finals 2022. You bottled the season because you were found out. Lightning in a bottle 2023. Fantastic. You had a good 6 or 7 week patch in 2024. Apart from that middle patch, it's very shaky at the start, but we got enough wins at the start. And then we had that amazing patch in the middle and then bottled it at the end again. And now it's just been a shocking season from literal round 1 until now. So for me, this game plan hasn't held up. It hasn't held up. And as a coach, you live and die by your game plan. And it's not good. So for me, Voss is gone. Sorry, I drained it a bit.
Still trying to work out what the game plan is. What's the game plan?
There is no game plan. That's the thing.
What's the game plan?
It's just contest. That's it. That's all. And he'll say it. He said it. It's just contest. We want to push every contest.
My head hurts.
But you wouldn't even call that a game plan though, because once we got the ball, there is no plan.
Exactly. Or if there is, the communication between coach and player, there's a massive disconnect there. So again, it falls on the head coach. You live and die by your coach's box. I wholeheartedly believe that. And
so now they want to say there needs to be changes. What, round 14, round 15, or whatever it is. Mate, they should have come out and said this after round 1. When you come out and lose to Richmond, when you're 41 points up, that's when you say, look, there's fucking something wrong with this club. Not now, when the season's done.
Just before George goes, Amal, you made a point and it's been stewing in my head and it's done my head in hard. Like, he knows his players and his game plan, he's working away and to perfect it and whatnot. Like, do you solely believe that he knows what he's doing? Like, and it'll just, he's persisting with his game plan and players aren't working to that style?
I feel like if I think back to all of the press conferences that I've listened to, it's always been we haven't been able to execute. We haven't been able to execute the plan.
Yeah.
And if I tie that into the speed and power rhetoric from the start of the season, then we have not been able to execute that at all.
Yeah.
Now, speed and power, you need elite kicking. You need elite skills that we clearly don't have.
But we've regressed. We've actually gotten worse. If you look at things we were pulling off in 23 to what we're doing now, he doesn't know his players at all.
Were we hitting
He's got
targets?
no idea what's happening out there.
But aside from that really, really good patch in 2024, we have not hit targets since. Before or after that.
Even during that, we weren't really hitting targets. We were just, it was like a wave of pressure we'd have.
Momentum.
Yeah, pressure
it was
great.
just every contest, we had this like wave of energy. So we weren't even really hitting targets. Honestly, just look at that one famous play. Look at that one famous play we made, right? If we didn't miss a target, if Hollands didn't miss Doherty, we probably don't win the game.
No.
But we just rocked and we rolled with the momentum we had at each contest. So to be fair, we've never really had a skillful side, even when we were at our best.
You need that. You need that for speed and power. Look at Collingwood.
We're talking about coaches. George, as George is probably about to say, I'm going to throw 3 names out there for people. Russell, Hamill, and Cruiser. and I'll pose the question: were they successful even as players?
I don't think that matters.
Of course, it does.
I don't think it matters as a coach. Alistair Clarkson, I don't know how he was as a player, but I don't think he was a successful player.
But they're specifically hands-on with players, teaching them how to play a role on the ground. And I don't know, in training, what they should be doing is running through set plays and running through pieces and passages. So if they're not successful as a player or have that footy brain or have actually executed it themselves, and how are you teaching it?
That's a fair point.
It's because you look at the school of Clarkson, like you got guys like Chris Fagan coming through as absolute gun coach as well, who played. I think he was a Tassie player, but he was never a player at the highest level. But we'll touch on that, and actually in a second, some of the assistant coaches. Just to answer my own question, actually. Before I do that, 300 in the chat. Hit the like button if you haven't.
There's only 40 likes, man. I just noticed this.
Yeah, almost 300 views, which is massive. Thanks for jumping on as usual. And I'm just going to read a couple of donations that we got in the chat and really good points that I'll touch on as well. LS, good to see you again, mate. I love the Keep Vossi talk. I'd like to know what top assistants are coming here with a head coach with a year left and his head already in the news.
That's a really good point.
That's
a really good point. Aside from just to quickly, like if I was an assistant coach looking at Carlton going, okay, there's probably going to be opportunities there, you'd probably want to be next in line for a senior coaching position. I think really that's probably the only type of assistants that would consider coming across. I think, at least, anyway, because you'll most likely be considered, especially if Voss is on the chopping block, which he very well likely is. You'd probably want to be second in line if you're coming.
That's why I mentioned last week. Like if they cut the cord and go someone like a Longmire, for example, you'd think and you'd hope that if that does happen, the assistant that they hire there, like one of those assistants, is there's going to be a succession plan to take over, right? You don't just you don't make one hire with a plan of, we're just going to stick it out with him until shit hits the fan. Smoking Man. Carlton has too many players who treat the game as a job. I think, Carl, you've said this quite a few times. Win or losses, they get paid. No desire to work hard or fight, and stinks of complacency.
On that, one thing that has completely fried my brain in 2020, and look, to be honest, even before that, is the messaging that comes out of players and even the president. We've got to get to work. This line of messaging of got to get to work. Man, when you say you've got to get to work, is I have to go to pay the bills to make sure that we have a roof over our head and food on the table and everything like that. Players should be looking at this as more than a job. You are out there playing the game that you played growing up as a child. You should love every second that you're out there. You're out there to be the best. The money is just secondary. Of course, it's important, but the money in this situation for every single professional sports person out there should be secondary. Or am I thinking about this the wrong way?
Times have changed, mate.
Mate, I play fucking local footy, and the only thing I want to do when I get out there is win, kick goals, do this, whatever it is, right? And I'm fucking 33. I'm on my last legs as far as any type of sport is concerned, but I still want to go out there and win.
And they might have to pay to play.
Yeah, I have to pay. Sometimes I have to bribe the coaches to get me on the fucking on the playing list. But man, when you got Harry Mackay coming out saying, "Yeah, we've got to get to work," man, fuck you and your work, man. Get out there, fucking kick some goals, bro. Don't
say it, just do it.
Yeah,
we don't want to hear that shit.
I don't want to hear work. It's not work, man. You're playing footy. You're representing yourself, your brand, and not only that, you're like a role model for so many kids who love this sport, and you're sitting there saying it's work. It's not fucking work, man. You don't even know what work is.
See, for me, when they say, oh, we've got to get to work, what the fuck you been doing? Like, if like AFL, right? Like, we're talking about elite sport. If you're not at 100%, right? It's such a high intensity environment. And if you've still got room to be like, oh, like we've been slack here or been slack there, we've got room, we really need to get to work. As an organization, like, where are your priorities? And we know where Carlton's priorities are. But I don't know, man. When I hear get to work, it's like, have you not been given 100% already? And
Yeah.
are you now are you admitting that now?
I'm almost certain in the it might have been on the news or the Blue Reward interview with Robert Priestley. He said something along the lines of, and I haven't watched the whole thing, but he said something along the lines of, we want the football club to be a safe space for work, for these people to come to work, for these players to come to work. Bro, it's a football club. Any football club, any single player that steps into that should know that it's a high pressure environment. Why are you trying to make it a safe space to work? It's never going to be.
I'll tell you what that is. I'll tell you what that is. That's a president going to the largest Carlton online community saying, take it easy on us, please. Please don't bully us.
You're not
Please
right.
don't be mean to us. This, like, hey, shout out Terry for actually getting the interview. Well done. Like, that's, massive. But that was all rubbish to me. Everything that he said in that interview to me was just all, it was just scripted, like he can act like he didn't, go over this with a media manager or whatever, but he did. He was definitely just repeating stuff, he's been told to say, and there was nothing organic about his answers. Bro, just fucking whatever the problem is, just fix it. We don't want to hear your rubbish, bro. We don't want to hear, look, we've got to get to work. We know, we know what's wrong and all that. Just do it. I think the majority of supporters are over the talk. We've been spoken to about this for 30 years now. It's been 30 years since our last flag. But especially like our generation, it's all we've heard growing up, from the slogans to the merch, to the coaches, to the captains, everyone, man. And like, it's just all talk. It's all fucking talk. And if there's one thing I've learned from this club, is that they're great salespeople. So this was just damage control. They're just going in damage control. The president's trying to look like he's one of the people. So you know what? I'm gonna join a platform that a lot of Carlton people are a part of, and I'm gonna look like I'm your friend, and like I'm just gonna reassure the fans that things are okay and all this, bro. Just fucking get it done. We don't believe you. Or I don't believe you. I'm not gonna speak for anyone else. I don't believe a word that president says. Not a single fucking word. So until I see change, and I mean actual change, I want head of football, Brad Lloyd, get the fuck out of this football club. He's responsible. I want to see heads roll. They're sitting there putting on a show. Oh, Michael Voss needed extra security, at the VFL game. Shut the fuck up, bro.
Embarrassing.
That is exactly, Carl. It is embarrassing because of some graffiti. He needs extra. This club, everything about it is just weak and soft.
And the graffiti supported Voss. The graffiti supported Voss. So the club is just absolutely.
But I wouldn't be surprised if they did it themselves. Yeah. I would not be surprised if someone at the club just said, you know what, let's get the attention off the game and let's turn it back on people just to calm down. Because what happened in the conversations, right, on social media, a lot of people were like, doesn't matter if the players are playing bad, you shouldn't be doing stuff like this. Right. And it didn't become about the game anymore. It didn't become about the game. So I wouldn't put it past, and I know I'm a conspiracy guy, right? Like, but hey, man, it works for a lot of political agents around the world. They'll do something with their left hand and distract you with their right. Look who runs the club. Look at the families that put money towards this club. We're talking about big dollars. You think they don't know how to send a little peasant out and just write a few things on the wall, get the news down there, make sure you send it to the news and put it all over the socials? That's a nice little distraction from a fucking shit show of a performance. I'm just saying, maybe. I don't put it past them.
thing for me is the accountability aspect on the ground, right? Players have no accountability, and the club doesn't want to own anything. They want to deflect. Everything is about everyone else except the Carlton Football Club. It's the fans' fault for being negative. It's, you guys need to get around us and support us. And then this bloke comes out and gives us that pitched spiel. The thing is, for me, it's like, own up to it. Call it out for what it is. We're more likely to accept it if you call it out for what it is, instead of saying, we're going to get to work and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Like, I don't know, man. It's
what do they expect though? Like, we're negative, yeah. Fuck, we don't like being negative, but fucking give us a reason not to be negative.
Yeah,
Show us something.
And then we get put on that we need to support and get around and do that. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Now, these players they go to work, right? And they work for Carlton Football Club. So is it not on the Carlton Football Club to support these players? Why are these players taking this time off? Why are these players not right? Why are these players not match fit? Why are these players not fit in the head? So you as an organisation, they work for you. So why aren't you supporting them in the right way? Don't put it on us as a supporter base. That's our job, to critique and to support and to follow.
Should be your job too.
They want to blame us, they don't want to take responsibility. It's as simple as that.
100,000 members, membership records getting broken, attendance records getting broken, yet we get told to stick fat and do better and be more positive. And like I said at the start of the show, I will not cop that. I will absolutely not cop. It's the fans' negativity. Tell me that the fans' negativity led to the round one debacle. We were all overwhelmingly. You couldn't find a bunch of more positive supporters. All the other opposition supporters are like, "You guys are getting too cocky." I'm going to answer the boss question after half an hour, but anyway, it's all right. I'm going to read a few chats. Being purple and green, great to see you. Thank you for that donation. Hey boys, random stats question: who do you reckon were the top 3 Carlton players with inside 50s? I don't know if you're talking about the Port match or in general. I would the Port match. Honestly, I switched off, not the TV, but I mentally switched off after a while. But if it's for the season, all I remember all year is TDK bombing it in, so he'd be in the top 3. And then to round out the top 3, Cripps, Chera, Hewitt, take your pick. 2 of those 3, I reckon.
Cripps is number 1 for kicks inside 50. I think we spoke about it last episode. Cripps is our best user inside 50 at 27% efficiency.
Rough.
So more 3 of his kicks go to fucking Dandenong.
Being purple and grey with another one. So Luke says it's really Banksy, the soft graffiti dude of Carlton. LS, thank you again. The club can't manufacture a premiership, but they'd be able to sell us a used Commodore with 350 on the clock, ball tires, no spare. Elite talkers, Carl. That's your domain.
Carl's ears just pricked up.
Fucking Carl, I saw that one last week.
That's fantastic.
That seller is driven by Cripps.
Yeah.
One owner.
Bro, I bought a bottle of wine from Cripps, man. Cripps released a wine. I paid fucking $250 for it or whatever.
And Andy's wine, I tell you what, Port Adelaide Pascoe, get around Lanita Estate, I can confirm a lot better than Cripps' wine, I'll tell you right now.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Being purple and green, thank you. He's letting it rain here, being purple and green. We really appreciate you. What does stick fat even mean? I'll tell you what, being purple and green, after that many iterations of stick fat, it's just added to the list of buzzwords, mate. We put up a video the other night of, stick fat and all the sayings we've had over the years, and it just seems as one of those things where the players, even Fantasia said, he's like, you're going to hate me saying this, but stick with us, stick fat. It's just another way of just squeezing that lemon till it's dry. I mean, for me, thank you guys. I really appreciate you guys in the chat.
Yeah, really appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
We to be honest, we actually before this show we were like, it's been 4 days since the game. Is anyone going to care anymore? And there's over 300 people, 300 of yous at the moment that really do. So we really appreciate you guys. Going back to Voss, I asked myself, I was wavering over the weekend a lot, I'll tell you what, because I was a fierce defender of him. And then I was thinking, like some of the language he uses, more so I'm with you. Like it's almost defeatist sort of, language and attitude. And then I thought, is the club, are they sort of muzzling him? Did they sort of say, this type of talk doesn't align with, how we the buzzwords, the corporate buzzwords that Carlton use, and you can't say this, and you can't say that, because we know damn well, without naming names, the club silence people. The club silence former legends of the club before they do media appearances. The club silences content creators. The club silences media personnel. As recently as this year, club silencing people on social platforms, and ex-players, and some ex-players have spoken up about this, about the club, about 21-year-old girls from the club, led by marketing media managers and social managers telling them, hey, you got to go tell this person, they're not allowed to say this, and not allowed to talk about that. So it doesn't surprise me if Voss is, he's got his hands tied when it comes to presses. I ask myself, has he been given all the tools he needs to succeed? Because you go back to Oz.
Thanks for joining us, Oz.
Thank you, Oz.
Good luck with your bed, mate.
I fucking hate changing the sheets, man.
It's the worst thing in my life.
So and
lost Georgie.
George is frozen like Elsa.
I've lost you guys. Sorry. Shout out, Sam, Uncle Sam. TMB will never be silenced on you, Sammy.
I thought Carlton got to you, George.
They
I'm telling you now.
They
I'm telling you now.
silenced you.
I'm telling you now. It's either that or it's my microwave. It's that or it's the microwave. Microwave impacts at 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, in case anyone uses. Anyway, enough of that. I fucking lost my train of thought there.
Whoa, sorry, George. Just one sec, because we're talking about censoring and everything like that.
Yeah.
Scotty Tompkins just put something in the chat
Tell
that
me.
has absolutely blown my mind. Not that. Look at this.
I wouldn't be surprised if they sent like forums. They go as far as forums. I'm not surprised. Yeah, like
They probably own the page.
That's my
Scotty's
source of truth.
versed. Scotty's well versed with the club.
Name the
history around
5
club.
families, Scotty.
Yeah.
Name the 5 families.
Do it.
So I asked myself if he was given the tools to succeed, and then I think David Parkin, obviously AFL legend, Hawthorn, Carlton. He was on the 3-man panel. That was, what have we seen? Where Parkin was part of the 3-man panel that sacked Voss. When Voss had his prezzo, and I think Parkin said something along the lines to him of, what if half the board wanted you gone and half the board wanted you to stay, and that was pretty much how he got sacked anyway from Brizzy. But then David Parkin, from memory, was also part of the team that helped recruit Voss. He was part of the when they done that review and their recruitment, and it was then, I believe, where he recommended and said that he's got good facets and good skills. He just needs the right people around him. He's not a great tactician. He's a good people, a motivator. So has the club done that right thing by him? Have they got the best assistants? And I'm not talking about the best assistants that money can buy. And we know that at the end of the day, if money needs to be spent, the club will find the money from somewhere, right? There's that you can argue for sure. But have they succeeded in terms of giving him the best tools available to succeed? I sometimes think, if he does see out this year, and he's got next year on his contract, and they do a clean sweep of the assistants, he's got his playing list, hopefully fit and firing. Will that be enough to suffice to see out a year where you say, we've given you a chance, we don't have to pay you out now, the contract's done, we either move on, or he sees some success and we extend? I don't know. I'm really undecided. But then you hear things that he says and some stuff that he does, and the unwillingness to waver from said game plan. Scotty, name the 5 families. I don't know, man. They're already censoring me, so I'm I think my address is on on a few places in the club, so maybe I'll keep quiet on the families. Anyway, the game itself, quarter one, because we can spend all night talking about the problems of the club, and we'll touch on it. But quarter one, just how
are we actually going to go through the game?
Not fully through the game, but I just want to touch on quarter, because it's going to be painful to go through the game. But touching on how quickly we sort of capitulated to Port, when, like you said, Andy, they come out, you want to see a response. You see a little bit of physical argy-bargy, and then Georgiades proceeds to have his way with us. At what point did you think we're cooked here?
Before the game.
When Wiedering was pretty fucking shit, man. Straight up.
George has been.
George is an actor. He's a paid actor for the Carlton Football Club.
Take the mask off.
How
It's
good
not
was
real.
last
It's
season?
AI. George is AI.
George is copping it in the chat.
I am. Look, at the end of the day,
Trying to
You
talk
wanna
his way
see-
out of it.
He's backtracking. He's backtracking.
Someone talk.
I would love to see tangible change across the club, and people to make their voices heard and things happen. And I'm so glad that, like I said, this week, vandalism aside, the narrative is starting to shift and the narrative is starting to change, and real questions are being asked. Because you didn't hear a peep from Brad Lloyd all year. You didn't hear anything from Priestley. You didn't hear anything from him since he fucking got hired. And now he's coming out and talking. It's damage control. Absolutely. They realize that, hey, they're starting to look into the board. They're starting to look at the power brokers behind the Carlton Football Club, who tips the money in, which family tips the money in, from what sources.
Five families.
And the hypocrisy of as actually, shout out to Vince Lochisano, as perfectly as he put it. Was that called to SCN? I'm not sure if it was SCN or another channel. The hypocrisy of some social agendas, Jackie Felgate, some social agendas that we champion, and the conflicts of interest with some people that are on the board or where the money comes from. So have a listen to that one.
Yeah, but do you think anything is going to come of it, or is it just going to get swept under the rug again and we move on? I'll sack a couple of people and we start again.
To deflect the real problem. That's what's happened in the last 3 decades. To deflect the problem. So we're basically saying that Ratton was a shit coach, Malthouse was a shit coach, Voss was a shit coach, Teague, Bolton. Some of those careers, we've killed them, right? And it's turned into a curse. It's effectively, these guys don't get senior coaching positions anymore, albeit obviously Malthouse was towards the end of his career and it was a bit of a super top up, but we've absolutely killed some of the legacies of what might have been for some of these people.
Don't forget Pagan.
And then Dennis Pagan as well. And what are we going to do if we move on again, right? And you get someone, you get a Longmire, or you get another assistant, and it repeats the same thing, and it deflects what some of the real issues are. Where,
sorry, Georgie. No, you went quiet, so I thought you were done. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Nah, so I answered your question as if nothing else was going to get changed. So, right? So if we're not changing anything, and it's just purely, are you sacking the coach or keeping him? Then for me, it's a yes. But again, I'll go back to what I've been saying. If we're tweaking things, right? If we're tweaking the playing list, if we're tweaking the coach's box, then I think he has to stay. Because of everything you just said, what's the point in changing the coach if we're not, if we're not actually, are we just doing a rebuild? Is it just a full-blown rebuild?
Is he keeping him, though? But he's got no game plan.
He's been our coach? So for me, give him, if we're keeping him, right? So if we're keeping him, and whoever's in charge of making that decision, which is Graham, right? I'm assuming it's going to fall on him. If he turns around and identifies that Voss is the best man for the job right now, then we have to give Voss the benefit of the doubt and say that, hang on, the club didn't give him the best tools possible. So then hand him the tools. Tell him, you've got the keys. What do you want? Give him that freedom to choose. And let's see. It's a risk, but it's a risk either way. So for me, if we can adjust the playing list, if we can get proper people in the coach's box, then cool. But Voss also, for me, should have been sacked a long time ago.
No, he's got to go.
I just think if you can't turn around and say the club hasn't given him, the opportunities, and then turn around and say, but he's a shit coach still.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I think it's either one or the other. We can't have both. And I think that's where, as a supporter base generally, and I get caught in this all the time, bro. In my head, I have these conversations with myself so often where I'm like, sack Voss. And then 20 minutes later, I'm like, yeah, but why? How can you sack someone when they haven't given him a proper chance? And then it's like, yeah, but you know what? He can't coach. But then on the other hand, I'm saying, but the players are shit. Are the players shit? And he's trying to get the best out of a shit list? Or are the players okay and he's a shit coach? And I think that's why it's somewhere in the middle. And this is what the president said, but I swear I reckon he watched us a couple of weeks ago, because I said a couple of weeks ago we need to just let Graham Wright come in. I'm not saying he's going to fix the club, but just with a fresh pair of eyes, make the right decisions for the future. Just calmly and just make good. Don't be so reactive. You know what I mean? Just because the members are screaming sack Voss or sack this player, don't just sack him. If it's the right thing to do, fuck him off. But if Wright and his team don't think it's the right thing to do, or think it's the right thing to keep Voss, then you know what? I'm going to trust that, because Graham Wright comes from a successful background. And if he's wrong, so be it. We'll wear that. But I think to be reactive, the only thing that I demand as a member personally, right, and my demands don't mean shit, Brad Lloyd must go.
In.
For me.
Take Voss with him.
And that's fair. That's
Voss
fair.
has to go, man.
I think after that media conference,
maybe.
he had to. That media conference was bad.
That was one of the worst performances.
Maybe.
He looked like a weak piece hand.
It was a deer in the headlights.
all
man.
year.
He was a deer in the headlights. But he wasn't. He couldn't even instill any formal level of confidence. He was backtracking. He threw the board into a conversation that didn't involve the board.
I love the board. Yeah, the board's really good. Love him.
And then he's like, yeah, immense pressure, and oh yeah, we'll see. And you could have easily just even if you have to say something, show. I think David King mentioned it as well. He goes, show unity, strength, carry on, move on. Like deflect some questions. And if inside the club that things are going to change or you're not going to be there or whatnot. Fair, you can, at the end of the year that'll get decided or into the season. But for the time being, when you're getting asked those questions, just they get people who are going to scrutinise either way.
He
Do you think he's trying to protect his players?
No.
I think, man, he looked defeated. He looked like he just got told on the plane home by Graham Wright, "You're fucked." As soon as I step in,
the thing gets me over the line, Andy. You know how you have that convo with yourself in your head about Vossi. I mean, is it the coach? Is he being silenced? Is he told what he can and can't do? For me, I have all those things as well. But what fucks me, and it's fucked me from day one with him, and why I didn't think he was the right man for the job, is selection integrity. He needs to wear that. And I'm sure at some point he gets to pick who plays and who doesn't play. So for me, not dropping players when they're not performing, that's a given. And on game day, when you can see the tide shifting or when you can see the opposition getting on, what are you doing?
He's not a tactician. I get that.
No, he had his whiteboard on Thursday.
Yeah, I saw that.
See that?
And he was just looking at it,
moving stuff around.
Yeah, but all he did, literally all he did was move McGovern from the back line to from the forward line to the back line, and he moved Silvani up. That was it.
Move them,
which he's done for a few weeks in a row now, and it's like Channel 7 or Fox. They knew what they were doing. The camera was on him every stoppage of play. I've never seen a coach get that much airtime ever.
They even filmed him walking into the toilet.
Just everything. We've got.
How do we not know that? All right, we say it's the coach, the players, but how do we not know he's the problem? And the assistants are good, but they're not saying eye to eye, and he's not taking anything on board from what they're telling him.
Yeah, possible.
If anyone's seen the footage on Thursday, halftime, was it halftime? I'm pretty sure it was halftime. The boys are coming down into the change rooms, and it was like he was invisible. No one looked at him. It's like they don't want him anymore. That's the way I've seen it.
But for me,
walk straight past him and we don't want you.
See, for me, you can't do that. If you're a playing group, and I know, but that's why you hold the players accountable. Bro, you can't just walk into your job on fucking Tuesday because your boss is being a dickhead, turn around and just ignore him if he's talking to you and ignore his directions, but you'll get sacked. Every one of us will get sacked. If we walk into our work, I'm my own boss. So for me, if I call myself a dickhead every day, I don't get sacked. But like if anybody who has a boss walks into their work, you can't just ignore your boss if he has directions for you, or you know what I mean.
So how do you fix that? That's why I reckon he needs to go. You can't fix that anymore. If they hate him, you have to move on it.
And what happens when they hate the next coach?
Well, then get a new one.
But do you know what I mean?
And that's why you can't just move on him. There has to be several changes. It can't be just.
That's why
they're broken. That's broken. You can't fix that.
See,
that looks like just pure hate.
And if that's the case, then it's 100% on the players, just as much as it's on him. Because these players, the leaders at the football club, in the playing group, have to be more. This is a professional organization.
That's where you make some changes as well. Big name players need to go.
Yeah, fuck them off. Then you have to. Yep. You can't let players get away with this.
100%, you can't.
How many coaches?
That's why you have to change coaches, assistant, whatever it is, and players, because seeing that was a fucking bad look.
And that's why I'm of the belief that we need to make the right decision for the football club, not just because the players hate him or because the coach hates this player. No, let's make the right decisions for the football club. And if that means Michael Voss is going, see you, bro. Fuck off. Thank you for your time. Thank you for giving me a great 12 weeks in 2023, but you've given me more headaches than good times. But if they turn around and say, hey, listen, Michael Voss is actually half decent, but it's couple of dickheads in the playing group and a couple of dickheads, in this box or in that box, then I'm going to trust that. Because Graham Wright, and again, I hate saying it because it's almost like this guy's going to come and be our savior. He's not. But you have to trust his background. He comes from he's won premierships in this role. So we've cried out for how long that we need successful people at our club. Brian Cook has come, and you know what? Whether we like to admit it or not, this is as good as we've ever seen this club be, right? Like a couple of years back. So he's pretty much a tick on that. So you add someone who's probably a bit fresher, a bit more fresh. Who knows, man? But the right decisions have to be made. That's the thing. Whatever happens from now has to be the right decisions, because we're walking that fine line between complete rebuild and having another crack. We're so tight.
We're running out of time. Whatever it is, man, I reckon I've got probably 20 years left in me, man. Fucking get one on the board, man. Straight up. Let me see one before I go, please.
All right, let's play a game, right? Let's play a game. We're all Graham Wright. I'll throw you scenarios and tell me what each and every one. Well, I'll go one person at a time. Tell me what you would do. Carl, I'm starting with you. You're Graham Wright. It is whatever. As of today, what's the first thing that you're doing?
Fuck. It's hard, but are you starting off, say, at the start of the season, or are you coming in?
No. Right now, it is the 30th of June. We've got Collingwood coming up. What are you doing?
What are you going to change? Besides, I'll play some kids or whatever it is, but you can't. There's nothing to change. It's too hard mid-season.
All right. Let me switch it up then. It's 15th of August. You are now officially the CEO of Carlton Football Club. Finals is completely out of the question. We've cooked it. We've won one game since Collingwood.
You wait because round 15, I looked at it, there's only 2 rounds left since when he takes over. You wait till the season finishes. You see exactly where we're going to finish. And obviously, I think that's where you make the decision on whether you move on Voss or assistants, and you obviously start looking at the list and who you move on.
Okay, that's so you're going list or you're going coaching?
Both.
Both?
Both. And going hard. 2 big names have to go.
Charlie Curnow for me. Charlie Curnow
and Sam Walsh.
I don't know about Walshy. I'm still on the fence with Walsh. I still think if Walshy gets his body right, I think it's good. I think we've seen the best out of Charlie. I think Charlie doesn't want to be there. Charlie wants to be surfing and probably ripping bongs. He looks like a bonghead. He literally just looks like a stoner, bro. Riding his fucking slippers on a bike. Like this bloke, does he wish he was... You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of those rich kids that hang around Fitzroy and look broke. It's like they dress to look broke. That's what he reminds me of. Just, bro, you're not that. You know what I mean? You're actually a high-profile athlete. So have a bit of professionalism. Don't wear fucking slippers on a bike to a fucking game, firstly. Fuck him off, bro. Fuck him off. We've seen the best of Charlie Curnow. That curly-headed fuck, as they say in Step Brothers.
Moose is jealous.
I'm with Carl. I'm just a bit of both, coaching and players.
Okay, Andy, you are now Graham Wright. Your job, you're looking at the players list. Who exactly are you moving on from the current list?
TDK. I'll do everything in my power to get him out, to get him to St Kilda. I'll just tell him, bro, take the money. We've now dropped our offer to 600,000. Either stay for 600 or go.
I think that's a given though. I think that's automatically done.
Mm-hmm. I think we.
Curnow was the other one.
I think I'd see what I can get for Curnow. I think his value's probably not great at the moment. So everyone's talking about we'll get 2 first rounders for Charlie. Mate, if we're seeing what Charlie's doing, then these other clubs are too. So say we get one. For me, I'm just looking at picks. Who's got the most currency? And if I'm having to trade someone other than TDK, I'd look at what I'm getting for Charlie. I wouldn't trade Sam Walsh, to be honest. I'd probably keep him, but Charlie just for me doesn't want to be there. Or Harry Mackay. I'd look at one of them, because prime example for me is the Western Bulldogs. I look at what Sam Darcy is able to do, and they don't need 2 massive forwards, right? Look at Jesse Hogan. They don't need 2 massive forward. The 2 forward thing hasn't worked. For us. It was like Melbourne's 2 big ruck thing. That's not working for us at the moment. Harry's playing in the ruck, bro. That just shows you, when he is playing, that just shows you that we're not really needing him up forward. When he's playing in the ruck, he's not a necessity up forward. And Charlie can't play, in the ruck because of his knees. So I'd be looking at trading Charlie, or you know what? A full switch up, play him on the wing, like Nick Rewalt used to do, like Matty Richardson did. He's athletic. Chuck him on the wing. Let's see what he can do. But TDK for me has to go now. I love him. Absolutely love him, and I've been a massive fan of him, but we've got nothing in this upcoming draft. And we need to pick up Peter Dean's son. We need to try get players in the door.
Cody Walker this year as well?
No, that's next.
Yeah, but you could get a pick, split some picks, and get some points for next year.
But we need picks, yeah, that's the thing. So we got to really look at that. We went all in on Jagger. Like, we gave up everything for Jagger, not thinking that Harry Dean might be actually a half decent player. And I think Morris was telling me he's going to be like pick 15 or something. They're like gauging. So we don't have the picks. We're actually screwed.
Fucking pick our noses.
Mus, you are now Graham Wright. Your job is to look at the coaching list. What are you doing?
The thing is, though, coming in as CEO, right? Yeah?
Yep.
As a Carlton Football Club, where it's at, I get your question, but what I would be doing is probably sitting with the board first, to be honest, and seeing what the fuck the problem is, or what they want, or what they stand for, or what it's about. Because
I don't think can he get rid of the board?
He can't question the board.
No.
They've hired him.
Yeah.
It'd be like going
you need to at some point sit there and say, well, listen, like, I'm here now.
What's got sacked already?
This is gone. That's it.
But that's the only thing. That's the only thing that's going to change. Like, there's no
visit the
point.
board.
Hi, Graham.
Like
Bye, Graham.
Right, it's like going to the control room in Squid Game. All the masks. They're all there with the masks. That's what it's like going to the board.
I get it, but I don't see. And I saw a comment in the chat earlier that I don't see him hanging around because he's not going to put up with it. If there's no common ground with what the board stands for, what the board is about, then he's going to fuck off straight away. Because if you think he's just going to come in and go, all right, I'll get rid of this guy, change this guy, and then be silenced by the board or told what you can and can't do, he's not going to stand for that.
Yeah.
We're going to see. We're going to see.
What about the coaching panel?
So what are you doing, but?
Voss is gone for me. I'll just straight, cut it off the head, fuck it, and then look and see what else is around. For me, I don't rate Cruiser. I don't know why Hamill's coaching the back line. I don't know why Russell's coaching the forward line. So there's 4 gone for me already. Andy touched on a few of the other guys behind the scene as well. For me, it's everyone gone. Fuck, I don't know. Might as well start from scratch.
Was sacking himself.
Is anybody there that has brought anything? Is anyone good?
No.
Silence. No. There's your answer.
All right. George, you're Graham Wright.
Oh,
What other changes are you making around the club?
you know where this is already going. For anyone who tuned in last Monday already knows. And I've got, here's one I prepared earlier. You know my fishbone statement, my fishbone diagram. For anyone who tuned in last week, you know, Phil Davis might have plagiarized it on SEN. It literally was the morning after. But anyway, without going back into my my solutions, if I condense that into 3 things, if I'm Graham Wright, I do a comprehensive list audit, right, top to bottom. You know, value, who's on the table. We've been plagued by players who probably have to play because of the wages that they're on. Number 2, I'm going to commence a rebuild without using the word rebuild. What have you found, Andy? Enzo, you're not wrong. And that goes to my 3rd point. This goes to my 3rd point. So I'd rebuild without saying rebuild. So I'd do a bit of shuffling. Graham Wright is known at Hawthorn for letting players go a year earlier rather than a year later. So he had that legacy of, I'm going to get ready, I'm going to trade you maybe 1 year before you retire or 1 year before we should have, instead of hanging on too long. He made those cutthroat decisions at Hawthorn as well, and people were shocked. He made cutthroat decisions at Collingwood, and people were shocked.
Who was it? Sam Mitchell was one of them. Roughhead, I think Roughhead was one.
No, was it Gunston at the time? I know Mitchell was
Lewis.
one. Lewis to Melbourne. There's a premiership players, absolute guns, where he's just like, he took the sentimentality out of it, right? He took the emotion out of it, you know. And as our good friend Morris says, you know, you got to respect the monogram, not the players. Don't fall in love with the players. And we get too emotionally attached to the players. You know, I'm guilty of myself. Number 3, leadership shift. Now, not just from the top to the bottom, but captaincy. Patrick Cripps, thank you so much for your years as a captain. You are no longer the captain. I want to reprieve you of that pressure, reprieve you of that responsibility. I'd pull Jack Silvani, Jacob Wiedering, and Ollie Hollands into the room, and I'd say, you guys have 72 hours to prepare me with a presentation of why you're the next captain of the Carlton Football Club and what you're going to bring. And they're the people that you want to take you forward. In my opinion, that's what I would do personally. Emma?
Sorry, who were the 3?
I would
Wieders, Silvani?
Jack Silvani, Wieders, and Ollie Hollands into a room.
Yeah.
And so you got 72 hours to present to me why you are going to be the next captain of the Carlton Football Club.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I would give the captaincy to Wieders and Ollie Hollands vice captain. That's it. I wouldn't have a leadership group. I don't want a leadership group. Right now, our leadership group sucks. It's pretty much non-existent now. Charlie Curno's in our fucking leadership group.
He's not a leader. Far from it.
Doesn't even lead.
Nick Newman
Doesn't even lead, exactly. Both ways. Yeah, he doesn't lead.
Amal, you are Graham Wright.
I'd come in and find out if Voss has what is Voss's game plan. If he says power and speed, this is what I was trying to do, and this is what I wasn't able to do because of the list that I have, then my next visit would be the list management team and whoever was in control of that. Now, either they've completely fucked it up or they were hamstrung by Steven Silvani when he was list manager. Either way, I want to see your plan, and if they're not able to come up with a plan on how they're going to fix this list up to a game style that Voss or the next coach is going to play, then you're sacked. After that, we'd with the new list manager or the current one, whoever it is, we would sit down with the coaching panel and figure out which players can fit into this particular game style, and which players can't. Whoever cannot, is to be put on the trade table, similar to what Collingwood did in that fire sale where they got rid of a bunch of real high-profile players at the time for Collingwood. And I remember as a Carlton supporter at the time when I saw, the name likes of Stevenson and Grundy and Treloar and all of them names going up, I was like, what the fuck? What are they doing? It's worked out for them. That's what I'd do. And then obviously bring in whoever you can, build up a decent draft hand with the players that are leaving out in particular. And Andy mentioned pretty much the players that I would trade out: TDK, Charlie or Harry, maybe
Your mum
Walsh.
sucks the most.
And go from there.
For our listeners on Spotify,
yes.
just a bit of clarification.
Replying to the comment or comments from someone.
All valid points. So actually, I want to share out a few chats because it's been a while and we've been flooded with super chats. I really appreciate you guys. Aiden, going way back here. I'm not going to another game again this season. They can all go and get fucked. Who are the 5 families? I know I'm part of them, but they can get F. Being purple and green, the 5 families, otherwise known as the Bald 5, as Eddie Youssef said, the 5 families are the Mus, Carl, Georgie, Andy, and Mal. How good. Can't guard me 11. Graham Wright will walk. He will get fed up quickly. I think Mus, that's the one you touched on earlier. Aiden's back. It's gotten that bad. There's voices in Andy's head and he's talking to himself. Why have they done this? Soon Mus will fall away. Geez, I'm still scrolling and there's more. You guys are amazing. Dig 1101. Our players aren't shit. They're mentally weak and crumble under pressure. You know what? Even some of the sides that are rebuilding, you never hear about mentally weak. Besides some, from grumblings from some Kangas fans over the years, but you can understand with their list and whatnot. This is a very fair assessment. Our good friend PJ, you all called me mad when I spoke of this a few weeks ago. The culture stinks within the playing group. Ash Hansen is the problem. And PJ, I must ask where you were on Friday morning, because all the things you've said on our show for a few weeks here were all spray painted in black spray paint, mate.
He came into my shop on Friday and
With a spray can, yeah?
well, no. He didn't actually have a spray can, but funny you say that. I told him, bro, can you hold this bottle for me? He's like, yeah. So he gave back to me. It was just black all over it. I don't know what it was. It was just black. I don't know. He said it was ink. It was something from a pen, a leaky pen, but I don't know.
That could go somewhere where I shouldn't go.
Yep. And Petra Khan faints the blame for the team's losses. Club is in denial. Again, it's a deflection. It is an absolute deflection. I firmly believe that it's just a way of, just like Stronger Together was well timely placed. I think people should know about the origins of that one, and we're not conspiracy theorists. It's history repeats itself. The club loves to deflect. The club loves to deny. The club loves to silence. And the club loves to do everything other than take responsibility.
And win.
Should we get into a duck race?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, yeah. We had a tie. Huh?
Thanks to Mercadante Wood-Fired Pizzeria, our weekly giveaway, we had 2 people tip Port Adelaide by 50 points. So well done.
Who were they, Andy?
Those 2. There was Justin, our good friend, and Hans04.
Yes, Hans.
Yeah, so we'll do a little duck race to see who wins $100. Put in the chat who you think is going to win. How do we share the screen? Is someone doing it?
I think Ruggers is on it. No.
George?
Nah,
I don't know.
I thought you were going to. I thought you were getting ready.
Somebody making.
Am I doing it?
Yes, please.
All right, hold on. Gotta give me a minute. While I'm doing that, should Cripps have played? Should Wiedering have played?
What's wrong with Wiedering? Oh, his leg.
He was on 1 foot.
Yeah.
Selection integrity, like always.
Yeah. Cripper couldn't breathe.
Whilst this is coming up, the club that I'm playing with at the moment is doing it hard for numbers, right? And I can kind of understand what's happening. Maybe not, but I can kind of understand what's happening. I'm not the greatest footy player. Like, straight out. And if the team was in, had full numbers, I don't think I'd be getting a game. Now, I'm starting to get a bit complacent as it is. I know that I'm going to play every week in the resis. And while it's all fun and games, training isn't as important. Like, if it's a full team, you want to rock up every Tuesday, every Thursday night and really train your ass off, put your name in front of the selection committee, whoever it is. But do you feel like because of our resis at Carlton are just nowhere near it, that this is kind of what's happening at the club at the moment as well?
Yeah,
Maybe.
you could say that.
Yeah, it's culture. It just goes back to culture.
Yeah.
Losing is embedded within the fabric of this football club. I say it every week. So, loser mentality is, why should I go 100%?
Or
I'm gonna get a game anyway.
entitled mentality.
Yeah.
Did anyone watch the reserve game?
I watched the last
I watched a bit of it, yeah.
I watched most of it, and I can guarantee you that team beats our seniors. I can guarantee it.
Yeah.
I swear.
Who's the coach?
Luke Parker, I believe.
Bring him in.
He's an assistant, I'm pretty sure.
Bring him in.
Right, how do I share? I got share screen. I see.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Make sure you close all tabs, Georgie.
Yeah. Here we go. I was waiting for it.
Get off the hub, mate.
All right. Can everyone see that?
No.
Yes.
No?
Yes.
Very small.
Really?
Was it
Just,
there?
yeah, small screen.
There you go.
go.
The Huns and Justin.
Yes,
Yep.
Hans.
30 seconds.
30 seconds, Carl. Do you want to commentate?
I'm gonna shuffle it 5 times for fairness. One.
I reckon Mush should do this one.
Before
There
you
you
press play,
Why are they changing colours?
I shuffled characters to make it fair.
Why?
yeah,
Anyway,
I
go,
could've
shut
been everybody put in the chat who you think is going to win.
And Mush will give you 100 cash.
If you guess it right, I was about to say Mush will give you $1 each, but $100 each is good.
Donation from the Monday Blues.
We ready?
Yeah,
3,
let's go.
2, 1.
Wait. Okay, all right. Who do you have from here?
Huh?
I got Justin.
Alright.
Winning.
Hans has got this in the bag.
The Huns.
Oh,
Yeah.
Huns late start. I reckon the Huns might come. Oh, here we go.
Was Justin
Oh.
holding a torch, man?
Justin's holding fire. I don't know.
Statue of Liberty. Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty.
Nah,
bro.
that's it. I've
Hans
seen
is
this
coming
many
strong.
times.
Hans
Hans.
The Huns is
coming
coming
strong.
hard.
I still
Huns is
reckon
coming hard at the
Justin.
end.
I still reckon
Oh,
Justin.
wait.
Hold
no.
on.
Nah,
Still
Hold on
Justin.
a second.
Oh,
Hans.
Hans. Oh,
Hans
Hans
got
is
it.
Hans.
Shattered. The Hans.
Justin stopped.
Hey, Justin did a Carlton.
He gave up.
He bottled it.
Stopped a quarter time.
Congratulations. I'll send you a message, mate. I'll get you up and going. $100 gift voucher from Mercadante, Wood-Fired Pizzeria, 123 Logon Street, Carlton. On you,
What
Georgie.
happened?
Not sure what's
I'm gonna
going on
quickly
there.
answer
Here.
Aiden's-
Well,
Aiden's been
Hey,
going
I've seen
crazy.
this about 6 times, Carl. Please
Yeah,
say
he,
something.
Yeah, you need to
Right
answer that
now.
question.
You need to
What's the
follow my
freakiest thing
OnlyFans.
you've ever done, cuz?
Follow my OnlyFans, mate, and you'll see. All right?
It's Carlito 69. While we're
Carlito
doing that,
Carlito or Carl Big Toe?
while we're maximising
dear.
our sponsors, I'm going to go to that Globalnet Solutions Australia.
There's your
Get
big
around
plan,
Naz. Get around Naz and the team at Globalnet.
Oh, shit.
Of course, for all your high quality and added value IT solutions for Australian businesses. Got a promotion going at the moment for a free business check. Get around Naz and the team at Globalnet Solutions. Mercadante Wood-Fired Pizzeria. Big thank you to the team for sponsoring our weekly giveaway. As you just saw, Elite Plastering Group, new and old homes, buildings, commercial, residential, maintenance, repairs. Thank you to Eddie and the team. Cabby Projects, thank you to Eric and the team there for precision framing, fixing, lock-up, renovations, pergolas and deckings. YPA Zach Nassar, buying, selling, give Zach a call. Raz Homes, thank you to Rules, high-end builder specialising in architectural homes, developments, renovations, extensions and multi-units. Bottle Loaf Pascoe, your favourite local. Good man behind the counter there. Get around him at 18 Devon Road, Pascoe.
Quickly, I'm doing daily specials at Bottle. Hit up my Instagram, Bottle Pascoe. I'm doing daily sales, like daily specials. Sorry. hit me up.
Fantastic. Fuck
Very
Collingwood, 10% off. Damo Finance as well. Thank you to Johnny and the team at Damo Finance, personal loans, asset and equipment finance, and business loans. Amazing sponsors, amazing chat. What a community.
Should we open the chat up for 20 minutes? A couple people been harassing.
Dropping the link.
Yeah.
Let's drop the link. Hold on. Link is incoming in a few seconds. Yeah, I don't know. I thought about the Cripps. He sounded like he was sick as a dog after the game as well. And I thought, as a leader, do you sort of step up and say, look, I'll let someone else take this one. Now he's a test apparently for this week. Weeders as well was on one foot. I just thought, you're traveling. Do you just go and maybe rest a couple of these players? Not just because it's Collingwood, but because it might potentially be the right thing to do. We've got to get this out of our head of, a half-fit Cripps is better than anyone else on the list.
It doesn't matter who you drop anyway. Will fucking make no difference in the scoreboard.
Yeah. Who do we have?
We got someone on. Is he ready?
I think he's ready. Born ready.
We got a few. What are we doing? Andy's doing the timer.
Oh yeah. Someone bring him in. I'll bring the timer out.
All right.
Can I just say something? I was half asleep last week. Like I was actually falling asleep, and I don't know what I was doing. I'd gone to bed. I'm like, oh shit, I got to set my alarm. I don't know what I did. I set a fucking timer on. I thought I was setting the alarm. I set a timer on for 12 hours. 12 minutes later. So I'm sitting there. I fell asleep and my alarm went off. I was like, what the fuck's going on? 12 minutes
get up
after
and get ready, did you?
No, I tripped out. I was still kind of awake. So, who we got?
Love a blank.
Ha, the man, Morris. Let's go.
It's all right. So
What's going on, mate?
Yeah, not much, like you guys. I think we all sit on the fence too much.
In which regard?
Where, I'm with you, Amal, and I've been saying this for a lot. You can't hit Voss with the broom and blame it all on him, right? And then, and I keep saying this, right? Who's responsible for saying no to Voss on the Houston decision?
I'm assuming Nick Austin.
Okay, so if you can't blame Voss on certain aspects of bringing people in and not giving him that mentality, you hear a lot of rumbles where apparently Ash Hansen's a big problem. Our defense, the only assistant that I would probably keep is Aaron Hamill. And only because if you have a look at us collectively defensive this year, we've actually been not too bad.
Yeah, but that's
All
personnel for me.
But Moose, he got him to work at a bit, right? And the way
I just think we brought in Haynes, and Haynes is that guy who puts his hand up, and that's probably where we got better. We lost Newman, and we got Haynes, and we've done the same job we've done the last 2 or 3 years in the defence. So
And
I don't think
Silvani.
anything's changed. Yeah, I don't think we've got better.
And Silvani got back down as well too, right? Now, I'm going to throw. I've got a bit of info on Harry Mackay, all right? I'm not gonna divulge it, all right, because it's unfair on a lot of people. But if he's out of the club, can we? I don't think we can afford to get rid of my best mate in Charlie. All right. So, I mean,
Can't do both.
You can't do both, right? So there's got to be, and And I started questioning myself. And I know I'm not being fair on you guys in divulging on what I know, right? But I have a suspicion that, and I asked the question, has Harry cracked the shits where he doesn't want to take part in the player revolt, in revolting against the coaching group and all of that, and has said, I don't want to be part of this, right? Pull me out. And that's why he's stepping away.
Possible.
All right. So do you blame him on that? If that's a and it's all up, could right, wrong, no one knows any of anything that comes from that. But like, we're a deflated club, and I watched the Blue Abroad thing, and Andy, I agree with you 100%. Scripted questions, scripted answers. Was it, like one of the things that Priestley said, that he wanted engagement from the club, and not just him. So everyone at the club is engaged with. So, and he mentioned social media outlets. All right. So give him the call, guys. Give him a call. Say, hey, these are words out of your mouth. Or do we not fit the narrative? You know what I mean? Are we only being interviewed by people that ask questions that align with your motto? Do you know what I mean? And what are your thoughts on big topic on my page the last few days? So I threw out a grenade trying to...
Can't be saying that on the Monday Blues, mate.
No. Sorry, I threw out a missile.
I said it last week. Sorry.
I sent out some drones. Yeah.
Got 1 second. Thanks, Morris. No,
that's your time, mate. No, I'm joking.
Just your thoughts on Wayne Johnson's comments. Because
I loved it.
I was over the moon.
He's been calling out things we've been saying for years, right? And now they probably won't invite him to the next club function. You watch.
But you don't get better than him. Like, he's a great. But anyway, guys,
I'm with you. I'm with you, Morris. He called out things that need to be called out. Called the players overpaid prima donnas. Said, he laid the challenge. He laid the gauntlet down. Right. He didn't skimp over topics. He was dead straight. So good call.
Yeah. All right, guys. I wish you all the best.
Thank you, bro.
And I'll let someone else.
Thanks for joining us, mate.
Thanks as always, man.
Love you, bro.
Cheers, guys.
Hey, make sure you follow Morris's page, Carlton Football Club, Unofficial Selection Committee on Facebook. Massive. You get to speak your mind. It's all good. It's one of my favorite pages. The only page I really engage with.
I've got to answer the door quickly. I think Asia's knocking at the door.
They wouldn't be knocking, brother.
Before we get to Wayno, thank you, Wayne, for joining. Rocco, love you guys. Always stay true. Don't sell out. Just remember, you live your life only to become a memory. What you will be remembered for. Look at Rocco's getting me all emotional and stuff. On you, Rocco.
Love you, Rocco. Make sure you guys tune in to the Jumper Punch tomorrow night, 7 p.m. If you missed last week's, you missed Mars. Absolutely going off. It was fantastic viewing.
Great round. Wayno.
Love you, Rock. Wayne.
Gentlemen, good evening.
How are you, mate?
How you going, man?
Mate, good. I just want to touch on some stuff that you guys have mentioned throughout the whole evening. If we remove Voss, we've got no one to replace him. Because no matter who comes into Voss's position, the same thing's going to happen again. Unfortunately, from my perspective, it seems to be the same shit. New coach in, it's good for a year, 5 years of bullshit, we blame the players aren't performing, it's the coach's fault, coach isn't good enough. It's the recurring bullshit constantly. We need to remove everybody in the back end controlling the decisions that Voss is able to do. Because to me, it doesn't seem like it's Voss's problem. I'll be consistent in saying it's not Voss. It's not. Because no matter what game plan he has, it's not going to work. The boys just can't execute. They just can't. There's no one there to execute anything. Without Walsh, Cripps looks like he's can't do shit. Don't know why. Don't ask me because Walsh has been jack, in my opinion. Walsh needs to go. Chera's like he's just lacking the energy or the balls to do anything. Same with McGovern. I agree with Aaron Hamill staying because if you look at our defense on paper, we are shit. Somehow, some way, he's found glue and he's put them all together and they work well. They work really well. Somehow. Don't know how. It's a miracle. I want to give the guy, I want to shut the guy Mill who fucking defecated the wall because I love what he's done. I want to give him Mill. So if you find out who he is, message me because I'm happy to shut the camera.
Just shat on the wall. That's great.
Furthermore, I think the biggest problem we have, and this is a representation of us at the club, no matter how angry we get, no matter how hurt we get by what we're seeing, we need to stick by the club to a certain degree. And everywhere we go, it's we're shit. Fuck this club. I'm gonna burn my Guernsey. I've been part of that. Don't get me wrong. I was gonna burn my Guernsey after the GWS game. I want to fucking have a party at my joint. Like it was bad, but we've got to stop doing that because as a whole, we look poor. We look like we're shit fucks, and that's really bad representation of us and the club. That's just my perspective on that. Now,
so how do we fix it? How do we fix this?
Mate, honestly, wins or losses, it's not going to change anything because it's such a cultural thing for us. I don't think it can be changed overnight. I think it's going to take years to change. Because if you look at the Pie supporters, I'm going to use the Pies as examples because I hate the fuckers, but they stand by the club no matter what. They literally all my mates, no matter how bad it is, we're still the best team.
But when are they bad, though?
They've never been like this.
When are they bad?
Yeah.
They haven't been.
They haven't been bad for a while, but when they are bad, they're bad. You know.
Mm.
Yeah, but the difference of them when they're bad is they climb back up instantly. When we're bad, we just get worse.
And this is where I'm saying to you: do you blame the coach for that, or do you blame everyone behind the coach as well? Because the coaches have everything at the disposal. Voss doesn't. It's been stripped away from him. It's been taken away from him, literally from underneath him. And there's nothing he can do about it. There's nothing. That's it. He's done. He looked defeated, man. He looked like he had no purpose last week.
Mm.
No purpose at all.
Mm.
And what makes it worse, the media just hound him. Kane Corns, I swear that motherfucker. Oh, mate. That motherfucker needs his head kicked in. He's done nothing for his whole life, and now he's on the media, putting his face in front of a camera, running his mouth like he's 10 men. He needs to shut the fuck up. And there's nothing. Okay? Talking shit about fucking Voss moving shit on the board. Bro, what do you want him to do? Go on the field and start tackling? Like, what do you expect? What do you expect him to do?
Mm.
But I honestly, for my opinion, I want to shut my mouth about that anymore. I'll let someone else take over. But the boys just need to be fucking sacked. They all need to go down to the VFL a couple of weeks, get their balls back, get something happening at the club because punishment needs to occur. My 9-year-old daughter, if she does something wrong, she gets punished for it. If I fuck up at work, I get punished for it. These boys consistently, week in and week out, underperforming. And I'm not talking about the beltings. The beltings are going to come, but perform. Try, show up, show me some grunt, hook somebody. You make 120K a year, hit someone. Like, show me that you care. Show me something. Show me something because all of us here are fucking going to the games and enjoying ourselves at home or wherever we're from, and we just get constantly being disappointed. And now my time's up. I'll leave you to it. Boys, love what you're doing. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you for joining, bro.
Have a good night.
We'll chat soon.
Ciao.
Thanks,
On
mate.
your own. And on that,
We,
I'm going to give you guys some extra screen space because I'm about to crash. But
Nice.
been a pleasure. I'm jumping off, gents. Thank you.
Enjoy. Moss, are you going too?
Ciao.
Yeah, I'm with I'm out, gents. Go run. Enjoy the rest of the show.
Nice. Thanks, boys. Appreciate it.
Go,
Carl,
boys.
what are you doing? You staying on?
I'm saying, mate.
Nice.
staying.
Georgie,
Stick-
nice.
Yeah, I'll say the mail get better soon. Let's go on. We got to invite the
Get
next.
someone else up.
We've got quite a few people. Tom,
Yeah, boys.
welcome, Tom.
Tom, how you going?
Yeah,
First
I've been
time
watching
having
for a
you on.
while, but I thought, what time better than ever to jump on and have a bit of intake about what's going on. So,
How you feeling, mate? How you feeling about what's going on?
it's not great, but I think I've actually been. It's actually making me watch the reserves more. I've been really enjoying watching the reserves because they're actually a better watch at the moment, and I was never one to watch the resis at all. But it's really opening my eyes, like, sadly, as much as everyone's going to roll their eyes. Frankie Evans is coming in this week.
I saw a bit of his game.
He as bad as his last game was, his use by foot in the reserves was just sort of that next level above what the younger kids were doing. And I think everyone's been calling for Motlop to get dropped, and I think that's what's going to happen this week. I think that's what's going to happen. I think Harry O'Farrell's got to get a game. He's really using the ball really well out of the back line, and I think they're just, especially if Sauce is going to be out, it's going to, and who knows what's going on with Wiedering. I think Wiedering's still going to put his hand up and have a go. So I think if Wiedering wants to play, as bad as it looks at the moment, there's no one sort of better defensively than Wiedering. So, and Collingwood haven't got a dominant forward line either. So I think we can sort of rest with that, especially the way Nick Haynes is going at the moment. He can be that interceptor. So you can sort of hide Harry O'Farrell on sort of one of their, I don't know, you'd say Jamie Elliott, but because he's got the speed to keep up with Jamie Elliott now, he's 700 years old. But I think, yeah, there's just little things that I don't think all hope is lost this week. I don't think it's going to be as dire as everyone thinks because we match up really well with Collingwood. But I just think the speed in their midfield is what's going to hurt us this week. And I think that's what's been killing us lately is not having that inside to outside contest to go with. So, yeah, looking at how the club's going to look, they've definitely got to find ways to get speed coming into the club because even watching the reserves, there's not a lot of speed going on in there. Moya had really good runs in the midfield this week. He looks like he's got a bit of explosiveness, but coming up against the more sort of, Dacos, the two Dacos boys and Ned Long and that sort of thing, I think they might just be a bit too emphatic against a younger body, but he's as good as any, I think, to have a go, take those centre bounce appearances off Fogarty and Motlop and Akers in the midfield there. I think why not give it to a younger guy who seems to want to take the game on? But I think that as much as I'm sort of 50-50 with Voss at the moment, like he hasn't done anything to make me want to keep him apart from a prelim 2 years ago. But at the same time, what else have we got? Like just to wear him out, like he's got to, unfortunately, I think he's going to coach for his job for the next 8 weeks. So we're not going to probably see as many kids as we want to see. So I think that's where Frankie Evans is going to come back. Carroll's going to come back. Will White's going to come in. And I've got nothing against those guys, but he's not going to risk his job playing the Campo boys and Harry Lemmy and that sort of thing. He's going to stick with Charlie Curnow and bring Walsh back when he's half cooked, Harry Mackay back when he's half cooked to try and save his job. So, yeah, I think as supporters, we just got to sit there and wear it. I sort of value what you boys are saying because it's really sort of at that point where everyone's throwing all these ideas at the wall because the club's just not giving us any guidance about what way we want to think. So everyone's got these ideas because we aren't being told what those ideas are. And the fact that Graham Wright's coming in and we don't even know what Graham Wright's going to do, and the fact that if anything's going to be done with what he says anyway, because the board hasn't got a good track record of wanting to do what the club wants to do. So I don't know, listening to you guys, that's just sort of what my sort of stand is it. Looking at it, like, I don't think any big changes can happen overnight, but blowing everything up, I don't think is the answer either, because we haven't got the basis to blow everything up, because we're not going to get much for Charlie if he goes. No one's going to want to get Walsh because they don't know what they're getting anymore. So, yeah, I think, are they some points, you reckon, boys? Or
Firstly, Tom, I just want to say you've got the greatest podcast voice I've ever heard in my life. I could listen to you talk fucking hours.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
maybe when we get a bit better, I might do it then.
Yeah, man, for sure. Mate, I think I agree with most of what you said, especially the part about everyone's just throwing ideas out because the club's not giving us any direction.
Yeah.
They're not telling us anything, you know, so none of us are experts. We've just got opinions. And most of the time we're all wrong. We're so far away from where the club is actually at.
Yeah. But the club's wrong as well. It's not like they're standing there with 4 premierships being like, well, we've made the right decisions. So that's the other issue. Like, what have you got to tell us that we can stand by and be like, yeah, I'm proud of this club because you're making this decision, such and such. So, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's a tough position to be in right now for anyone associated, whether it's, you know, it's people in the club and us on the outside. I think it's a tough kind of spot to be in.
No, but yeah, that's just sort of my 2 cents. I really enjoy what you guys are doing and sort of the passion that is really what us as supporters are. We're not guys spitting on the players. We're not guys spray painting on the walls. This is what the Carlton Football Club is. And
absolutely.
Just keep doing what you're doing, boys.
I appreciate you joining, Tom.
Thanks, mate.
Fantastic. Can't wait to have you on again, man.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be back.
Done, bro.
Thanks, guys.
Take care, mate.
See you later.
What a legend. You want to chuck someone else in? I don't know.
Sorry, guys, I froze. Yep, I froze the. Got censored by the club again. Not sure what happened. I'm back.
Nice.
All right. Thank you again, Tom. Appreciate you, mate. Aiden, been patiently waiting there. Aiden, welcome.
Going on, mate?
No, nothing much.
Did you follow my OnlyFans?
I tried to find it. I couldn't find it, to be fair. I need a link.
Carlito.
How'd you feel, bro, after that game?
I wasn't angry. I wasn't angry at the performance because I kind of saw it coming, but I was more angry at how players were smiling and laughing. That's what kind of aggravated me the most. And you can tell that the way that they played, they clearly don't want that guy there anymore, even though they've expressed how much they love him. But if clearly something isn't working, then at some point you need to split things apart and find something else, find something new to make it work. And if that's a new coach, new head of football, then who knows what will it be. But personally, I think his time's done now, even regardless what happens the next 8 weeks, because there was a feeling from the supporter base and even, I think, external that if we didn't make finals this year, then he more than likely would go. And Brad Lloyd, and I think, it was Brad Lloyd, he didn't even give a definitive answer whether Voss is staying or not. So that's pretty concerning. And I really want him gone. He's the first person that has to go. And, look, if we get pumped over the next 2 weeks, like if it gets really, really ugly, do you think it wouldn't be as bad of an idea if we do let go of him? Or do you think the club will stick to their guns and try and make it, what's the word, as rational? Is that the word? Yeah, rational as possible to let things go respectfully without any sort of, without any toxicity around there? Or what would you guys personally do if it gets bad within 2-3 weeks?
I don't reckon, especially after what was said today by the president, I don't think they're going to do like a knee-jerk reaction and make a call yet. But going back to your previous point, do you reckon the players were just waving the white flag and just
downing tools last week? Because it seemed like it. Like there was parts of it where I thought this is wild. Like what I'm watching is, usually you'd have like 2 or 3 players that are really off the boil. I was just seeing a whole team off the boil. Like there was that shot of Cripps on the bench looking around, like, and he just looked like a guy that was so lost. Like, what the fuck is happening around me?
Mhm.
Do you reckon the players down tools and just are sort of going through the motions at the moment? Is that what you were alluding to?
Yeah, I feel like if you lose to North Melbourne, just to backtrack a little bit, if you're going to lose to North Melbourne like that and get played off the park like that, and then see them a week later get absolutely spanked by 84 points, then it clearly says to me that the players have clearly checked out. Probably not all of them, but some. Obviously, you're going to have a captain that's going to say all these cliche words that, oh, we back him in, I love him, and all that, because he's clearly not going to say he's fucking shit. Let's get rid of him, and we're playing terribly to get him sacked. But I just think that next 8 weeks, just play for pride and play a little bit of young players in this week, I reckon, and see what they can do for next year, and try and get a little bit of momentum to the start of next year, even though that's probably 6-7 months away. So yeah, just end the season on a strong note. That's what I would say. Just play your best footy and see what you can do from there. Because finals, we're not playing finals this year. So yeah.
Well, I think you're right. Like you want to see some stuff implemented now before next year, so we can actually work with a few games in the preseason. Like I said, I don't think they'll make a move on Voss. I don't know if they have if they can actually even pay the bloke out. I would assume they have to sit down and ascertain the impact of that financially as well. But yeah, I'm with you. There are a few things that you need to make a move on probably from now, knowing that you got to win 8 of the next 9 to make finals, and you don't want to just throw in the towel completely and throw the season away. It's about implementing things that you want to not have to wait to next preseason games to try. You can probably try them now, and if that's with Voss, that's with Voss, or if that's with someone else. It might be a directive of the club to have a new direction. But yeah, I personally, I don't think they'll make a move.
Yeah, I agree. And I do think that if they were to stick with him for next year, and let's say we did get in new footy department, and if next year starts as bad as this year, then it'd look pretty bad on Graham Wright to get rid of a coach in his first proper year of CEO. So that's why I reckon he'd probably want to make the change. So, yeah.
It's going to be interesting, I'll tell you that.
Will be.
Interesting 8 weeks coming up.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's it for me.
That's it, bro. Thank you for joining us as always, bro.
No, good.
You going to the game this week?
I don't want to, but yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think we're all kind of feeling a bit flat.
Yeah, I'm not expecting much. I do think that I don't think we get smashed. I think it'd be kind of close because the rivalry and all that, but you never know what Carlton will turn up. So
we'll see, brother.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Have a good one, bro.
Have a good
Love
night,
you,
man.
bro.
Before we get the next guest in, hit the like button, guys. Still over 250 in the chat. I think we just passed 100 likes. Our good mate Johnny Holden, I love this comment. Big issue is supporters honestly believe we should have been top 4 at premiers this year. Like, seriously, how entitled do you think you are? We have done nothing for 25 years but a prelim in 2023. You're not wrong, Johnny.
But isn't that no, see, I love Johnny Holden, but I think having an expectation, like you should have an expectation. Like we're so far into building this list. What's wrong with having an expectation? I had us finishing 13th, by the way, but I'm just saying, like, we should have an expectation on the football club. If we're paying 5-6 players around the $1 million mark, then that tells me we're a team that's ready to knock on that door. And if we're not thinking about, making the top 4 with this list, when are we ever going to be? So I can get why people were expecting, something.
I think I had us about 5th, 8th. I think I remember that even at the TJP live show, you get excited. You think, geez, I had us at 5th, but then you look at the fixture and you think, oh man, like we can. I thought we could have a decent run. It's just about what we do in September. That was the big question mark for me personally. Let's get our next guest on, Bocek.
Boys,
the man.
Welcome.
Listen, I had my say. What are you laughing at, Andy?
we had a vent session after the game.
We had a vent session, yeah. That's why I'm not going to go back into that. So I'm going to ask some hard-hitting questions. NWO, black or white, or Wolfpack?
Come on, bro. If we're going there, I mean, when I was younger, it was definitely red and black, right? Like when I was younger, the Wolfpack, Kevin Nash, Lex Luger joined, Conan was there, and then when Sting joined, I was like, bro, this is the epitome of life. Because I actually remember when Sting joined them. I actually full remember when he joined them. It was fantastic. But now that I'm older, how cool were black and white NWO?
Nah.
You reckon? Come on, bro. Nah, Hulk Hogan.
It's Wolfpack for days and that's it.
Look, always, bro. Always. We're doing this forever. But like it just took me back.
Bro, I'll tell you now. I used to collect wrestling toys. Love my wrestling toys. Still have a few. Back in the day, it was like the thing. Mum, go to Kmart. Can I please get Sting or can I please get Hulk Hogan or whatever? When the NWO toys came out, I was like, these are the coolest things ever, right? And I remember how G'd I was. So I loved the black and white NWO Sting, but when the red and black, the Wolfpack ones came out, bro, next level.
Their song
absolutely next level.
Don't turn your back on the Wolfpack. Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
What a song.
Deal me out, bro.
Huh?
Nah, man. I fucking
Carl's
watch
too
that
cool
fake
for
shit.
wrestling, bro. Carl's too cool for wrestling. Wrestling's not fake, bro.
Leave
me alone. Let me enjoy it.
Man,
talking about drifting, the drags. That's my zone, man. Not these fucking shit.
Yeah, Carl's the car guy. Carl's all about cars.
We'll bring it back to footy. I've got one more question. Where do we get those 4 and 20 beanies?
Georgie?
Talk about this one. He's talking about this one.
Yeah, man. Fuck, I'm jealous as.
Bro, I before the Hawks game, before the Kangas game, there was a guy in a Kangas hoodie that came up to me, and he's like, "Oh, mate, love that 4 and 20 beanie." He was wearing a yellow beanie. I was like, "Oh, it looks like you got one too." Then he turned around, it was a Hawthorn beanie. I'm like, "What the fuck are you doing? You got a North hoodie on and a Hawthorn beanie." He was lost. So they were being handed out at the MCG last year. I think it was when you bought like 2 4 and 20 products or a drink or something, you get a free beanie. But mate, I'll keep an eye out for you. If they're back, I'm gonna snag an extra one for you, bro.
Yes, please. I will say one serious thing. I don't know who knows this and who doesn't know this, but I can tell you 100% that YouTube, as one of their departments who deals with a lot of online stuff for YouTube and complaints and reports and things, they do get directions from the clubs. I'm not going to say how I know, where that's coming from, anything like that. I'm happy to discuss on another platform. But I can tell you 100% that I found out that YouTube does take directions from clubs as to what should be allowed and what shouldn't be allowed. And if you hear of this to be spoken, then get rid of it, or so on and so forth. So, and they'll mask that with certain ways of, I guess, getting around it, like whether
guidelines.
It's report or whatever it is. But that I just wanted to say that based on what was being discussed before about, what the club can and can't control in terms of content and who says what and whatever else. So
that's crazy. That's insane. But any of us really surprised? Yeah.
It's not a surprise, but I know we have people of all different ages in the chat here and other places and whatever. So some people may not know.
I had no idea. That's crazy. Yeah,
it's wild. I mean, I can go into it. Well, I'm happy to have the chat, off air. Sort of. But it's a really big rabbit hole to see or to go down, to find out what they're able to do and what they're not able to do. And trust me, there's not much they can't do. So
the 5 families, bro.
I thought I'd come in and lighten the mood a bit,
It doesn't. Well, mate, the more we're talking about it, the more it's a bit of North Korea vibes happening about the club. I'll tell you now.
I said in the chat before, I said this whole thing about club. Well, we won't say clubs. We'll just speak about Carlton, and what the president has said, and what gets through content barriers and what doesn't. Seems awfully like a certain person in history. from back many years ago, and what you can and can't say against a certain group of people, you know. So,
A certain artist, a painter,
Sorry?
if you will.
yes, yeah.
George lost it.
I'm just talking about Picasso. I don't know who you guys are talking about.
Killed George.
Oh shit!
I'll let someone else join. I just wanted to have a bit of a
Came
laugh.
in, dropped the bomb, and left.
Bocheck will get you on after hours, and
Absolutely.
Get him in the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, absolutely.
I got some info. Don't worry.
Love you, bro. Appreciate you.
Have a good one, mate.
Hey, before you go, bro, you got to give me one of these, bro. You got to give me one of these. Oh yeah, there you go. Oh yeah, that's for
All right,
life.
I'll talk to you soon. See ya.
See you, bro.
catch you, bro.
Oh, I love our community, man. I fucking love our community.
Best, the best. All right, we bring. I think being purple and green has tried to join. I've seen him join a few times.
Yeah, I saw him struggling to.
So, mate, if you try again, I think if it can work, we'll get you on. But whilst you're trying that, the content goat, only Carlton.
Oh yeah.
What's up, boys?
What's going on, brother?
Nothing much. Being purple and green, bro. Can you stop harassing me in the comments, bro? Please. Like, I'm just a content creator, bro. Look at Brad Lloyd. He's the head of the football department. And he's saying, yeah, after every question, bro.
He needed a quick fire media capability session, just a focus session before he went out there, bro. He was like deer in the headlights. Yeah,
he looked so lost.
Yeah.
He looks so lost.
Not even that. Just speak to your brother. Speak to Matty Lloyd. Give you a bit of direction. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. It wasn't really convincing, and it just seemed so. I don't know. It was just a guy who he didn't want to really be there, and not just using the cliche, but it just didn't fill you with confidence. Like, this is your head of football, man. Like, yeah. Andy, you spoke about before, like who's doing who's signing off on decisions and whatnot. At the end of the day, you'd think that the Houston one or any other decision, at the end of the day, you've got to put it on the head of. That's the head of football, man.
True.
This is a man who has to instill confidence in the coaching group.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Strange.
Kind of funny that his brother on TV is always kind of, like whenever there's a question about Brad Lloyd, his brother kind of comes out and, they don't talk about his brother, but he talks about the issues at Carlton being, is it coaching? Is it playing group? It's never really above conveniently on that show. So,
yeah.
Look, if I'm Graham Wright, bro, you got to look at the coaching group, right? Not just Voss. I'm hearing a lot of people call for Voss's head. You got to look at the assistant coach, because if what the club said is true, where Ash Hansen is he's the guy that makes the tactics, and Voss is just a motivator, right? Look at our tactics. What is our tactics, bro? We play terrorist ball. We play the most uninteresting brand of footy I've ever seen in my life. You got to look at the heads of development. You got to look at Brad Ebert. You got to look at Tony Lonergan. You got to look at Torrin Baker. These are all guys in charge of development. And they all joined around 2021, 2022. Can you name me a player that's gotten better since 2022? You look at Corey Durden, who had a pretty solid year in 2022, has fallen off, been nowhere near it. You look at Sam Walsh, who had his best year in his third year. He was like third in the Brownlow. Has reached nowhere near it. For that final series, he was pretty good. Nowhere near it since. You look at Jesse Motlop, had a great first 2 years. What the fuck has he done all year? You look at all these young players. They're not getting anywhere. The whole coaching department, bro, needs to be looked at. It's not just Voss. It can't just be Voss.
I saw a statistic today on AFL Tonight. I think it was Nick Del Santo. He was saying that from last year, so from 2024 to this year, only 2 players have improved statistically. Sam Walsh, surprisingly, was one of them. It was by a fine margin. And I can't remember who the other one was, but everybody else had been down.
Yeah, which is
everybody else had been down.
Yeah,
And the
And
leadership
I mean, you
group
just
as
have to
well.
watch the games to know that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, 100%. You look at the leadership group as well. You got Charlie Kerner, right? He's a co-vice captain. Whoever signed that off needs to get sacked tomorrow, right? You have Sam Doherty, who's not in the leadership group. I understand that, but he's still a senior player, right? Players look to him when they're in trouble or whatever. He's patting Brad. What's that constant? Who did he
Boak.
pat on the back? Travis
Boak.
Boak.
Travis spoke.
He's tapping him on the back when we're down by 60 points.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You got Kerno having fucking water fights.
George
with
Hewitt was the other one. Sorry. I just remembered. Sorry.
George Hewitt, yeah. Well, he's had a great
Yeah.
year, actually.
Yeah. But it surprised me that Sam Walsh also got better this year than last. I don't know. Can't remember. Yeah.
Well, last year was pretty average as well, but I don't know, man. Like, there's so many things wrong with this club, but you can't just say it's boss. Like, the players have checked out. You look at them, they've checked out. Like, you look at Cripps, bro. I don't know if you saw that clip of him on the bench, of him just looking around, like, what the fuck is happening?
He looked like a man who was just like woken up in a nightmare. He was like lost. He was looking around because usually you have a few efforts or a few individuals that have a bad one, but you were looking around. You're like, this is like a horror show. Everyone was just getting done. Georgiades was just breaking ankles. Players were just hitting on the fools and having a laugh. McGovern's one summed it up for me. That was where he was walking to the ball. You know what killed me, bro? Chunky boy Rioli. Love Rioli. Right? Really, he comes, bro, and he when he gets the ball and he's running into the open goal, he full slows down. Like he slows down to almost like a jog.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come tackle me, come. Like, just can't, and bro, this guy's like 10 kilos overweight and he's just he's putting it over our defense, running into an open goal, and he slows down, slots it home. We were embarrassed by a side that we usually match up very well against.
Yeah.
We're embarrassed by a side that's shit.
Well, we got beaten by pretty much like what we are. Carlton and Paul, we've said it a long time. We play the same. We have the same style. Ken Hinckley's kicking back in his hoodie. Just, I'd love to play Carlton every week,
Yeah, I don't blame him.
You look at, and you got our players acting like tough cunts, bro. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna start fighting this week. For the first minute of the game, I'm pretty sure there was a fight. Like, what's going on? That was such a directive. That was so fake. You could see it. They got slammed in the media last week for not sticking up for TDK or whatever. And then Saad gets hit in the most, he got hit hard, right? He got concussed. But it wasn't intentional. There was no malice behind it. And the guy that hit him is like 20 years old. It's a kid, right? And then you have everyone going over to him and starting first. Where was this the entire season? We've never been a team like this. We've never been a venomous team like this where we go out, we stick up for our teammates. We don't do that usually. Normally Cripps does sometimes, but we're not a team like that. Why are we pretending to be tough cunts now? And you got Willie Rioli. You can look at the contrast, right? Boy tackled them over the line. A couple of weeks ago when Hawthorn players did that to him, he had a punch on with him. But Boy did it and he helped him up. He patted him on the back and helped him up. That's how much of a joke we are, bro. Rioli, who's known for threatening cunts, is like joking around with us.
Rioli's going to smoke people off the field. Right?
Yeah. He plays against us and he's laughing. We're just we're actually a laughing stock to everyone. You had Zach Butters. Chinkata got into a contest with him, and Zach Butters looking at him saying, "You're fucking shit." You can read his lips. He's saying, "You are shit."
You would absolutely love to have a bloke like a Maynard, like a even the toughness of like a Bonds, a Libba. There's some players that really just fly the flag date like every single game, and that if you're lining up to them as a teammate, and it's, to be honest, one of the last really, one of the last plays that I saw that was going to probably have that instilled us in our back line was Liam Stocker. Remember that game against Collingwood we won? I think it was Sauce's 100th, where he was just, on a mission and a rampage to help his teammates, knock another player, get physical. Like you saw that in him, and out you go, right? For whatever reason, but just don't have those players where if you line up next to them, like our defensive players use the word trust a lot. Like Wiedering uses that word a lot. I trust Haynes. I never said that about Young, but I trust Haynes. I trust Jack. So there's the trust there, which obviously maybe says that there was a lot of distrust or mistrust amongst players. But then also at the same time, it's having your teammates back, right? It's all well and good. Players kill themselves and knock their bodies around for the ball, like Cripps did for many, many years. So outside players can get it. But when the game's on the line or there's a shepherd to be like, how many times, Carl, at level 2 when we're sitting, you're like, fucking lay a shepherd, like get in the way. They're handballing and they just kick back. McGovern does it.
Bare minimum.
Like the actual footy acts and supporting your teammates, man.
That's why I love Hollands. That's why I don't care what Hollands does with the ball. Mate, when he hasn't got the ball, he's the hardest working player on our team. So
Hollands is one of our only players that wants to win games. That you can see that he actually wants to win games. Like, he grew up working for the club, I'm pretty sure. You can tell. You can tell it means something to him. We don't have players that want to win games. You don't see many players on, like, for the last 2-3 weeks that you can see them and be like, oh yeah, they actually want to win. They're putting in effort. We don't look like a team right now.
Yeah.
We don't. We look like 22 guys who are being forced to be there.
Having a laugh.
Yeah, just having fun, yeah?
That's what we do, mate. We have fun.
You going to the game this week?
Nah.
Nice.
But,
I like it. Do you want my ticket?
I'll message you after, don't worry. But,
Done. Guys, make sure you're following Only Carlton, Instagram, TikTok, the number 1. Number 1, 2, and 3. Carlton content.
That's
video edit. God. Make sure you're following him.
Make sure
Thanks for joining us, brother.
Yeah, no problem, bro. One more thing before I go. I'm being forced to say this. Jesse Motlop is a really good player, and I really appreciate it.
Is that a gun to your head? That's a gun to his head, bro. You're going to get us banned.
It's a toy gun, bro. It's all right. YouTube, it's a toy.
YouTube, Carlton, whoever sends
Jeez. Jeez. Bro, hey, we are 100% going to get banned for that. Guys, this is the last time you see the Monday Blues.
It's all right, bro. It's all right. They didn't see shit. They didn't see anything. Cut it out. Cut it out. All good. Anyways, see you guys later. Thanks for having me.
Love you, bro. Take care.
See you, bro.
Take care. We've got here
one more.
Robert, thanks for joining us, mate. Nice to meet you.
How you going, mate?
Nice to meet you guys. Yeah. I've been following you for a few weeks now, so
appreciate you, bro.
Probably a bit more success than what you have, but we've been waiting a while now. Look, we're all disappointed. Everybody knows that, but I think you got to go back to the start of the season where it blew up, even after the St Kilda game, the practice game. We had lost Newman, we had traded Kennedy out. And all of a sudden, we lose Jaeger. And then the same week, our other good midfielder that was very good for us last year, Elijah Hollands, he goes on his trip. So all of a sudden, you're down 3 midfielders, quality midfielders, and it's down to Cripps, Hewitt, Walsh, and
Chera.
Walsh's back injury, I know pretty good about this. Last year, the guy should not have played for 6 months. But he's someone that just loves to get back onto the field, and no one could stop him. But the operation that he had, he should have not got back onto the park till at least mid-year. And he's stuffed still from that. So that's going to take a while, and now he's got foot injuries. So I think early on in the season, before the Richmond game, now the Richmond game, there was no excuse for that. We should not have lost that game. You can't be up 41 points and then with 2.5 quarters to go and lose to them. And I think it just turned into a slippery slope after that. Mackay decided, mental health issues. People can go on whatever they think about that. But you got to remember, Charlie had 2 knee surgeries during the off season. So he wasn't ready to go anyway. And when he needed Harry the most, Harry wasn't there in his first 3 or 4 games to help him along. So we lost the game to the Dogs, to the Hawks, and it snowballed. Now we're at a point where Cripps, I believe Cripps, Hewitt, and Chera are extremely tired now that they've lost Walsh as well. And if you look at the centre bouncers, you've got guys like Motlop, Fogarty. They're throwing anyone through there. These guys aren't midfielders. We're trying to get them to play with Cripps and Hewitt and Chera, who they probably don't train together anyway. But it's a bit of a patch-up job to try and get us through the season. Now, anyone that thought we were going up to Port Adelaide, and I wrote in one of the chats, that was our third game in 11 days. We'd been on a plane to Perth, come back off to South Australia again on another trip in 11 days, already with a banged-up midfield that's tired. And it's the midfield that's collapsing. I honestly think that for once, we've had a backline that kind of works together for a number of years now. They finally got their gelling. And I think Nick Haynes, even though he had a bad start to the start of the season, the guy knows what he's doing. And with Silvani down there, they've seemed to have gelled. And the stats show that the backline isn't the problem. It's the connection with the mids. The mids are tired. And I think we're able to play for maybe a quarter, 2 quarters, and then they just drop right off. And that's when you start to see the kicking get real bad. The decision-making is real poor. And then the other highly paid players, probably unfairly, that we used to get to the club, they're just not performing. They haven't been performing in ages. And I think now we're at a culmination of, probably some bad decision-making. We haven't recruited well, or we haven't been playing players when they're coming into the side in their proper position. I mean, have a look at the forward line. People are saying Lemmy's is good some week, he's bad the other week in the reserves, but we're missing a full forward for Harry Mackay. Why wouldn't you bring, say, for instance, the Port Adelaide game, why wouldn't you have brought Lemmings into the forward line? We knew Wiedering was injured. You could see he couldn't even run. And Patrick Cripps, I mean, seriously, we weren't going to beat Port Adelaide. Give the bloke a rest. He walked out, his eyes were glazed. He was coughing into his jumper. Bergman made him look like a fool because he couldn't run because his chest infection would have been just killing. No matter what you take, within 10 or 15 minutes, you're gassed. So don't play him.
Is that on Cripps, you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon that's a bit on Cripps. And this is the problem Cripps has got, what I think. I've been following footy for a long time. Cripps has too much control at that club. And when you go back to the issue where should you take the captaincy off him and that, I'm not saying you should, but someone's got to maybe, to me, it sounds like he's happy to play his game style or a game style that revolves around him. Our game style revolves around him. You take him out of that and that game style collapses. It's a crash and bash, his style. It's not a quick style. So I'm not saying we're not going to get rid of Cripps. There's no way. We need a crash and basher like that as well. But I think he has a bit too much control on what's going around in that midfield and how he wants the midfield to play. That's my issue with him. But at the moment, I think it's just been a culmination of things that we're playing bad. We are not this bad. I mean, honestly, North Melbourne, if Harry Mackay or Walsh plays, we beat them. But not saying that's to take anything out of beating North Melbourne just. But, we've got a culmination now where our top end is injured again. It's not performing for a number of reasons. But there are issues at the club. I mean, I haven't been a fan of Voss because I haven't seen enough from 2022, that year that when we got bundled out by Collingwood. You look at that year, honestly, the way we fell away. I mean, again, we used to get out to big leads and then all of a sudden we used to just 35, 40 points, we'd get caught. And it happened a lot that year.
Happened a couple of weeks in a row. Hawthorn, we'd get out to 7-8 goal leads, and then we won by a point or 3 points or whatever.
Correct. So that was happening under his first season. Then we go to the season where we were a rabble, and I don't know, after some meeting down in the bush at the Kerno's place, all of a sudden we go on some crazy run. Now, I don't know if that was because they thought the season was over and they were just playing free-willing, but if you remember that year, we weren't injured. We had all our top guys playing. I think later in the season, Mackay picked up an injury and Walsh did as well. But
pretty sure we had a lot of injuries in 23. Yeah, we had a lot of injuries in 23.
We were covering it because we were playing teams like West Coast, North Melbourne towards the end.
Yeah,
they managed to,
to get by those.
Keep it together. Akins and Cripps had banged up shoulders, but we managed to get to the prelim and I think we rode a wave of emotion. Last year, the first half of the season, even though we were, we were second by a game and a half, it was an ugly first half of the year for us, but we managed to do that. And then what happened? The injuries came and we just fell to bits. And I think a lot of it this year has been a culmination of those 3 years under Voss. So I haven't seen much of a game style that has worked that much with Voss. That's my criticism of Voss. Whether he should go now or next year, I don't know, because a lot of us are talking with emotion. Everybody's upset. I mean, I'm 50 years old this year and I've seen 4 premierships, but, the last 30 years have been nothing. But
Stop bragging, bro.
So what are you doing though? If you were to make that decision of now, are you keeping him this year or you keeping him? What would you do? Yeah.
I honestly, if they get Walsh right, Walsh has been playing injured all year and it came out with this foot, right? Now, this guy was MVP without even playing a grand final not too long ago. I mean, the back injury last year, and this is where you're right. It comes down to having a tough coach that's going to tell your player, you're not playing, mate. We can live without you for a couple of months. We need you fixed because you're 23 years old and you're the future captain. Well, he was touted as the future captain of the club after Cripps. Now we've destroyed this bloke, because we've got to keep playing him. We've got to keep playing him. I think with, all the reports on Jaeger is that he's going to be something straight away. Well, not that he's going to be a Paddy Cripps or a Walsh straight away, but Walsh had a massive impact straight away within his first year, second year. If he's got that impact, if they can get, I don't know what's happening with Hollins. I heard he's in bad shape. Whether he's going to come back or not, who knows? But if you can get, you saw him during the Geelong game, Elijah Hollins. Mate, he the way he was kicking the ball beautifully he chopped them up that game. And then he had a good game, I think, against St Kilda, was it? I think. We beat St Kilda.
Yep.
And then the Swans game, you could see he was rattled. He was missing his shots all over the place. And then he hasn't played since. So you put Jaeger, Hollins, we might pick up someone, I was watching the reserves like probably a lot of people on Saturday. Ben Camporelli looked good.
Yeah.
He's going to grow in a bit as well. And we need a small forward. For small forward, we're bagging Charlie out. And you know what? Yeah, he hasn't been doing his thing. But he didn't get off on a preseason, and everything's falling in a lump to him because, buddy, Harry Mackay can't get on the park. He's killing us, Harry Mackay. He's killing us. He's killing Charlie, to be honest. They love each other so much, but every year Charlie plays a lot of games. Harry Mackay, I don't think he's ever had a full season with us. He always goes missing for 2 patches every year. Early on, he'll get a knee clean out, and later on, something else will happen. So, again, we got rid of Andrew Russell. Why? Because Marchbank and Cunningham and Jack Martin made him look bad. This bloke, whoever we've got from the Swans, we're still copping injuries. But now they're 2 different blokes. So what does that tell you? But to keep Voss, I don't know. Who are you going to get at the moment? Longmire hasn't said he wants to coach. Simpson, he's wishy-washy. You know what I mean? There's no one really. I was watching, on the footy shows and that, they're talking about Corey Enright might be the next big thing. Now, I own a gym in the northern suburbs, and I got the Collingwood people telling me, you should look at our assistant coach, the guy under McRae. Now, McRae's been a good coach for 3 years, yeah? Who's he grooming? Remember all the Alistair Clarkson people? Don't look at them now, but everyone under Alistair Clarkson in their heydays has
They won premierships.
Yeah. So who's the next big thing going to be? A guy under McRae? Surely he's grooming someone. Why do we look at, if you're going to look at a coach like that, is that the time now? But if there's no one on the radar, if John Longmuir, a horse, he hasn't been saying, I want to coach again. Look at Alistair Clarkson. Honestly, North Melbourne, I don't know. He didn't want to coach. They dragged him. We couldn't drag him out. And then they finally dragged him out for $5 million for 5 years. He's set up now. He doesn't care what happens to North Melbourne. I don't know. I don't know. What's the exact? I mean, look, this right guy, he knows what he's doing, maybe. So they say. But how many times have we? Yeah, Cookie. Remember Cookie? Yeah, we got Cook. He came from Geelong. He fixed them up. Everyone's carrying on. He's going to change the world.
We bring him in and cook them.
Yeah,
that's what we do. We bring him in and we cook them.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I mean, I think whether it's our own doing, I think we've had some issues go sour for us, and we're a team where if a couple of our top blokes are off, it really affects the way the team works. But I don't know. I don't know. I
don't think anyone knows, bro.
I just share that. Yeah, I just share that because I just think there's a lot of things have gone against Voss again this year. Maybe out of his doing. I don't know. I'm not a backer of Voss. I'm not someone against Voss because just like you guys, everyone's kind of confused as to well, what's the solution again. You know what I mean?
I'm with you on the centre bounce attendances and the issue that
they're getting tired, mate. Because you look at the centre bounces, mate. It's the same three guys, and then you know what? Let's get three kids from anywhere to, and on the weekend, I mean, on Thursday night, Cripps was cooked, mate. You
could tell even after the game, he looked like he'd run.
He shouldn't have been.
He was, and he sounded really rough as well.
Well, he was in quarantine till the Wednesday. So how much better could he get in 24 hours?
Yeah, and you look at I remember I think it was Essendon last year where Cripps and I think Walsh didn't have the best of games. Like they were relatively nullified. But who stepped up that game? Elijah Holland stepped up, Kennedy and guys like that. So you're missing obviously with Kennedy out. Yes, Hewitt's been stepping up and having a great year, but Elijah's a point of difference in there. It's good. It's good. Look, it's
you're
good
down
that
three midfielders at the moment. You're down three. Three of our six that rotate the centre bounce are out.
And I think Voss, and the team would have probably planned around Jagger Smith playing every week.
100%. I agree with that.
When he's out as well, obviously, they're reshuffling, and you're seeing guys that it's strange running into the centre bounce attendances, but it's happening.
You go back to asking, who's the blame lay on? Like I think I heard before somebody saying we haven't been told who told. I'm not saying Owies was any good, right? But we know we've heard or we were told Owies wanted $600,000-$700,000. Did he want that? In the end, did he agree to take a lower cut, but we still got rid of him? And I don't know if people know, but Kennedy had a year to go on his contract. So even though he went to the club and says, I want to play midfield, hang on, mate. You've got a contract with us. You'll play where we want you to play for now. Now, already, by the time round one came, he would have been playing back in the centre because Jaeger went down, right? And Elijah Hollands went on mental leave. So, of course, he was going to play the midfield. Keep him as insurance. We got picked 50 for him or some crap that we did nothing with anyway. It wasn't part of the Jaeger deal, the Kennedy to go. It's just craziness. But that's the thing. And we talk about our list managers and that. Maybe they need that is the problem there. They've been bad for a long time.
We're in a bad way, man.
Stuff.
We're in a bad way. We are in a bad way.
That's what I want.
Do you want to shout your gym out? Do you want to shout your gym out?
High Life Fitness in West Meadows, Tullamarine.
Oh yeah.
We're the biggest
near just near Mr. Pockets. Near Mr. Pockets on Richmond. Yeah, I've been there a few times. There you go. Small.
So we've moved up to the start of the complex now. We're in a massive facility. So if you're down
beautiful.
There, come and say hello. Everybody knows me. I'm the big Carlton man down there. We've got a lot of Carlton supporters down there.
Awesome, man. Yeah, just off Midland Road, mate. Get around.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, that's right.
Good stuff,
Very
brother.
good.
Well, all the best, man. Appreciate you jumping on.
Listening to you next week. No worries.
Have a good one, my friend.
Good night, man.
Don't know why, but we'll be at the game.
Of course.
See you, brother. See you, man.
See you, mate. Whew. Gents.
Good chat.
Look, I always love talking to our community. I say it all the time.
We have the best.
We've got the best. Yeah, we do.
Still, look, honestly, like it's nearing
midnight. We have 200
people. I would love you guys. Hit the like button,
guys. If you haven't subscribed, please do, because we are so close to 2,000 subs. it's like I think how many we're like 50 or 60 away. So
I reckon we're like 50 odd away.
55.
Hey, 55 or guys,
55.
seriously, we're so close.
yeah,
Let's maybe get there before the Pies game or just after the Pies game.
yeah.
Get around, get all the devices in your house.
How about if we get to 2,000? I reckon we do a cheeky giveaway of something.
We definitely
sit,
yeah.
We'll have a chat, and yeah, I reckon
We'll
give
definitely do a
something
giveaway.
away.
2K giveaway,
Definitely.
absolutely.
Definitely.
Get us there in the next week. We'll tee up something. It's becoming sad, but I don't think we're doing votes anymore. Let's be real.
Yeah.
Don't be silly. Don't be silly.
Big thank you to everyone in the chat. Big thank you for all your generous donations, your time as well, coming on and having a chat with us.
Yeah.
Well done to the Huns on the winning the $100 giveaway.
Yep.
Next one, of course, will go live on Thursday night before the Friday game.
Thursday night, yeah, 24 hours
We'll do a
before the game.
preview on Thursday night. Closing comments, boys?
No
We're
comment.
fucking shit, man. We're shit.
Another
No
Monday
comment.
night. Another therapy session in the books. This stuff will be studied in years to come, I'm sure. The Two Gardens, that's a new one, actually. I haven't seen Two Gardens before. This is more entertaining than the Collingwood channels. Go Pies. Well,
Subscribe.
Collingwood.
Yeah.
Subscribe. Yeah.
Thanks for subscribing, mate.
Thank you. Thank you for subscribing.
Bo, too sweet, my friend. I'm bringing it back. I said it a couple of weeks ago. I'm bringing it back.
No, we appreciate you all. Until Thursday, where we will have at halftime of the game on Thursday, probably just before 9ish. Oh, actually, it's 9. You usually were a couple of minutes late. We'll have the preview of us versus the Filth.
Yep.
And yeah, before Friday's game, we'll see you boys then on Thursday. We'll see the chat then on Thursday. Until then, Carl.
Sicky. No.